Radio 99.5 in Accra, 99.7 in Tamale, 100.3 in Cape Coast, and 98.5 in Kumasi. My name is Wilberforce Asare, and I welcome you to today's edition of The Forum. The Forum is a political and current affairs show, usually on Saturdays, on your weekends, and we bring persons of high understanding in political and current affairs matters, and we anticipate that through their participation they bring you multiple perspectives on issues of national interest. Today it's not going to be any different. We have some three important national issues to put up across the table, and we have some four extraordinary gentlemen and a lady joining us for today's discussion. Now, before we settle down for these analysis, I have three newspapers that I will quickly run you through, and then we will settle down for our conversations to commence. So the first paper that I take a look at is The Mirror. The Mirror is Ghana's most popular weekend paper. At least that is what it says on the front page, and it was established in 1953. So I believe that it deserves that title. So it has a series of stories here. It says that Dr. Victoria Wosonu named top dental graduate with 6 major awards, and the story is on page 10 of The Mirror. I tried looking at it before I came on air, and it talks about this young Ghanaian doctor who's a dentist, and it says that on the 4th of April 2025 the University of Ghana held its 2023-2024 Vice Chancellor's Academic Awards. One stands standout achiever, I should say, was Dr. Dentist Victoria Wosonu of the dental school, who walked away with 6 prestigious prizes. And so yes, it's good to celebrate our women who are achieving good stuff, and so congratulations to Dr. Victoria Wosonu. The other story on the front page of The Mirror is neither male nor female struggles of intersex persons, and this is a feature story on page 8 and page 9 of The Mirror this morning, and it's talking about some persons who say they are struggling with whether they are female or they are male. Well, so yes, their story is on the 8th and 9th page, actually the center spread of The Mirror this morning. So if you grab a copy, you should know why some people are saying they are neither male nor female. The other story here, which is somewhat disturbing, is use of semen for skin care could be harmful, according to a skin consultant. Story is on page 3 of The Mirror, and it actually says that a skin consultant, Mrs. Carol Arthur, has cautioned against the use of semen to nourish the skin or as a face wash. Amazing. She said semen infected with a sexually transmitted disease could introduce harmful bacteria to the skin. Mrs. Atta, who is the owner of the Skin Therapist Ghana in Accra, encouraged the use of clinically tested skincare ingredients which give results without danger. And so he's speaking to The Mirror on Thursday in Accra on the use of semen as a skincare essential. She explained that although semen contains some proteins and antioxidants, there can be no credible research showing that it provides any visible benefits to the skin. Okay, so this is quite a disturbing and at the same time interesting story. Why people are going this route, I don't know, and I can't tell. All right, so the full details is on page 3 of The Mirror. If you grab a copy, you should get those details there. Okay, so let me quickly look at The Spectator, which says that it is your weekend companion. The Spectator does not advertise the year in which it was birthed. It only advertises the volume number. So this is volume number 1646. Now the story is here. Don't neglect menopausal wives for side chicks. story is on page 5 of the Mirror, and that's also an interesting story. Why people are neglecting their wives and going for side chicks. So the story is there, page 5. It says that elderly men must not abandon their pre-menopausal or menopausal wives for the young women. And Dr. Francis Wabwa, he's a gynecologist, and he's the one giving this advice. If you are interested in that story, page 5 of The Spectator, it is live and colored. Okay, so quickly, the other stories here. Mayford Music has dropped her maiden song, Odo. I'm told she's a gospel musician. Stories on page 14 of The Spectator, and she has dropped a new song, and so if you want to read all about it, it's there. Payment of school feeding fees, a nightmare for parents. And this story is on page 3 of The Spectator. And I can understand the idea behind this story. It says that despite the urge to ensure that every child goes to school, certain demands are making it impossible for a number of parents to ensure their wards remain in school for the 5 days of the week. Among the demands is the payment of feeding fee for the wards on daily basis. In recent time, the payment of feeding fees have become a nightmare for a lot of parents, especially those with 2 or 3 wards. The Spectator checked with several parents from schools the Spectator's checks with several parents from schools indicate that wards are charged between 15 to 20 Ghana cedis on daily basis for food services for the children. For the parents, they see nothing wrong with the service, but what was troubling them was the amount which they found exorbitant but attributed to the high cost of foodstuffs. Okay, so disturbing developments there, and we will pay some attention to this in the coming days. Okay, so let me finish with the Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic says that truth and accuracy every day, and Daily Graphic also does not advertise the year in which it was birthed, but it advertises the number. So this is number 22,736. Okay, so President urges calm in Bawku, and minority tax government to find solution to conflict. And this story is by Joshua Kumson, and it comes to the picture of the president dressed in a navy attire while he attended a graduation ceremony of the military. And so it looks like President Mahama has some taste for military clothing, because I remember in the past he did clothing for the armed forces itself, and then this time around he's joined the Navy. I'm sure the next time it will be, which one? There's the next one will be the Air Force. Yes. Okay, so my guests are in the studio. That's why you are. You say that again?
That was going with the water guards. The Galamsey water
The
guards.
water guard. I don't know about that. Do they have a uniform?
Yeah. They wear t-shirts.
They wear t-shirts. Okay, all right. Okay, so the man you are hearing is one of my guests this morning. He came in second. So I'll introduce the one who came in first. So the one who came in first is Charles Bisiu. It's been a very long time since you came here.
Yes.
What have we done to you?
No, you haven't done it. I was actually out there campaigning.
You were campaigning, yes, I know. I'm just being... okay, so Charles Bisiu is... I don't know why they introduced you here on our artwork as former... Oh, it says former presidential staffer. I thought they were saying former presidential parliamentary candidate.
Okay.
He's a former presidential staffer and also a parliamentary candidate for the Ketan constituency. Even though he was not successful this time, he will come back and try again. Yeah. I'm very positive about that. Yeah. Good morning to you, Charles.
Good morning.
And welcome.
Thanking you.
Yes, I'm happy to see you and happy to have you.
Good to see you too.
Yes, okay. And then the man who is fast becoming a part of the furniture here at Asaase Radio, Dr. Joshua Zato. You know, the other time he mentioned his middle name to me, and I'm seeing it here, Djibouti. Jebuntie.
Okay.
Yes. He's a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. What is your other post? Is there any other one?
No.
That's one. Okay.
all.
Soon to be professor.
That's all you have to do. That's what.
That's why that's fine.
Let's.
Okay. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning.
And it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay. So Doc, you are from the northern part of our country, and today we are beginning our conversation, unfortunately, again with Bawku, and the fact that there are disturbances in Bawku. I am very sure you are as disturbed as I am. But what do you think is the way forward for this Bawku situation?
Good morning, Wilberforce, and good morning to all the listeners of Asaase. To all those listening to Asaase from Sasala Radio in Tumu, let me say, me pumakaladia, madiapana, mayara fielako. Mania Majimala won't be lavanga, concola mayoka. You are nella sigil motiva, wear a helmet. And the dust is too much, so concola mayoka, mafia laughing. It's nice. I heard there was a dastardly armed robbery attack in one of my communities in Tumu yesterday. They stole 2 motorbikes, and then some people were injured, but it wasn't so fatal. So my name was a garage college, Madonson, Laniado Sumoto, and the Missoria, no Polacala Yarfiela, and Papurus, and work and Yalakala. Is that is dangerous? The lack of helmets, speeding in the dust kills a lot of people in my community. It's a real thing that we should look at. Okay.
You mean dust as in
it's a dry season, so this
okay.
is very dusty. And then what you then also have is that the roads aren't good too. And 3, most people are on motorbikes and they're speeding and some of them running. So when you put those 3 together, it becomes deadly, becomes a combination that is fine. So mutual makala. Wilberforce, sometimes what happens is that when we are discussing these issues, as well as these security issues, there's always a tendency on my part at least to try not to just go into it and to say what exactly the issue is. But the more we dance around it, the more we don't call it what it is, the deeper it gets. I have family that lived in Bawku before for a long time. I've been to Bawku, I've lived in Bawku before. I know the place. One of my brothers attended, well, 2 of them. My sister and my brother attended Bawku Secondary School. So my big brother lived in Bawku for a very long time working with audit service.
How far is Bawku from Tumu?
Well, it's quite far. Because from Tumu, then you are looking at Navrongo, Bolga, then you turn and you go to Bawku. But what is happening in Bawku now is because we are reaping what we've sown. The chickens of the campaign have come to roost. We should and we must be able to categorically state that this is what has happened during the elections. The elections in Upper East region and especially in the Bawku area. Remember, this is basically between Asaase and Mamprusis. Whether we can just be clear about that. His Excellency, the former Vice President, Dr. Mabone, is a Mamprusi. In that segment of the Upper East region, so you're talking about Bawku, Zebila, and all that places, Asaase are the majority in terms of numbers. The campaign was pitched like that. We were told in clear terms that if Dr. Bawumia wins, the Mamprusis will take over their lands. That if Dr. Bawumia wins, he's going to help the Mamprusis, or he will take the place for the Mamprusis. So sometimes we should be able to say that. And the NDC did that. It was a deliberate campaign strategy. It was purposeful. It wasn't accidental. In fact, they didn't even pretend to be coy about it. It was categorically stated. This man wins, you lose. This man wins, you lose. They tried to establish a causal link between His Excellency Dr. Bawumia winning and Mamprusis taking over their lands and their chieftaincy titles. And so now when you have such a very vile campaign, there's just no other way you can. How do you counter that? How do you go? He said that's not the case. That was the kind of campaign. And it worked to perfection. That's why you realize that every seat there was swept by the NDC. So much every day in Northeast. The last time he lost 3 seats, so he won only 3. His office won only 3 seats there. It pained him, it got to him, it will get to you because here he is campaigning, and here is somebody running such a vile campaign. All the NDC, every campaign they were centered around this idea, this concept. Now you've won power. Now you're in power. The people are now asking for what? Their pound of flesh. You promise us A, B, C, D. Where is it? It's not coming. Now that the campaigns are finished, now that you have ended up what? Mudding all the waters, now that you have ended up sinking everybody, now that it's done, you are not saying that, oh, let's all come together and try to get it done. Let's all come to do it. I think it's important that we do this, that, of course, there's no patriotism when it comes to campaigning. So no, we don't see it. It's just partisan, it's rational self-interest in the campaign. We've seen that. That is what they have shown. And we've also seen that in the last campaign, the Hindis were prepared to do any and everything. They used every single means to win the elections. And they definitely did, especially in the Upper East region, and especially when it came to this Bawku conflict between the Mampuses and the Xtra's. To say that they exploited the situation is an understatement. To say that they craftily and played the tribal card there is an understatement. To say that they did this thing. Now the question then is, now you've won. What are your big proposals? The only proposal on the table, the only meaningful, tangible, intelligent, and smart thing on the table is the process started by Nana Addo Akufo-Addo in people campaign. That is the
Asaase intervention.
That is it. There's nothing new. So you see, you run a campaign and run down somebody so much so that now you pay only to come, and that's the only process that is there. There's no other process. There's nothing else. You cannot point to any other initiative. You know, it says, okay, that is it. So the only thing that is the only viable option is a process that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa started, the Ashanti process. All the men and women who were making those accusations, who were making those vile promises, where are they now? I tell you where they are. They are all sleeping in Accra, come I say, in their posh new V8s with their bodyguards and their drivers. Almost all of them have got their new appointments. They are all happy. They are feeling best. They are feeling good. Their children are secured and safe at home. They themselves are secure at home. Their wives, their husbands, their side chicks, their girlfriends, they are all safe in Accra. They're all good. And none of them may go to Bawku again, or may go to Zebila again, or may go to any of those places again.
Until the next election.
The next election. Because, you know, they've achieved what they want. And they've been rewarded with that. Some of them have been made MPs. Some of them, and some of the candidates, and we must say it and say it categorically. Some of the NDC candidates, they've all won. They played this card craftily, intelligently, smartly. They played on the sentiments of the people. They weaponized the conflict and used it brutally and mercilessly to achieve set political objectives. Today they are also, all of them, all the MPs today, they are also happy. They are sitting in Accra. They are fine. They are comfortable. They are here. They are protected. They are there. What is happening? And so, look, I have confidence in the Asante committee established to do this. I believe that that is the only way. I pray and hope that people in Bawku and environs will put down their weapons and listen to it. The IGP was there yesterday and literally throwing everything he has at the problem. I hope they listen. Everybody should keep Bawku in your prayers. What should be? But there's one thing that is also happening. And I always say this. There's supposed to be behind every conflict. You must always look for what? The money man or the money woman. But in this particular case, behind that conflict, you should look for the big men and the big women. All the big men and big women fostering this things are not living in Bawku. They are not even living in the Upper East Street. They are all in Accra with their families, living in big bungalows with big walls, CCTV, this, and they are all comfortable here. And then they will take a phone and call their unfortunate brothers, and people at home say, don't agree. Fight on. Once in a while, they will send somebody. They've evacuated all their immediate families and resettled them all over the country in safer places. So the person sitting in Accra and telling you don't agree, keep fighting. If you look around his whole traditional family home, there's nobody there. the people, the men and women who can and who should also talk and end this, who are taking uncompromising stance, who are digging in, who are saying that don't accept injustice, and who are saying that it's our culture, it's our tradition. Those men and women who refuse to be part of it, none of them lives in Bawku. Check. They're all outside. So you see, you now have a very toxic and dangerous cocktail. That those that are refusing compromise, none of them lives there. And they allow. So the only people that are now likely to be there, who are almost in a 12-hour curfew period, are the people who cannot afford to even move to Bolga or to move to Zebila, to move to Navrongo, to move just even within the Abaise. They cannot afford. They have to stay there. Their livelihoods are turned down. They cannot do their farming. They cannot. There was a time Bawku was noted for something called Sankase. Sankase is a town in, I think it's, I hope I'm getting my geography right. It's in Togo. It's in Togo, around there. It's not, I don't think Sankase is in Ghana. But it's close enough to Bawku that most people used to go to bring, because of the port free, this thing coming in from Togo. A lot of people used to go. So Bawku was noted as the place where you could go to get a lot of goods coming into.
I think the name is Sinkase.
Yes.
Cinkase.
Okay, I don't. Okay.
It's just at the tip of Togo.
Yes.
So
very close to Bawku, right?
yes.
Good.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, like when we were growing up as kids, that's what Bawku was noted for. So, almost all the businessmen, let's say in Tuma and around, and even in the Upper East region, whenever they wanted to buy goods and to sell, they just flocked to Bawku. So, that was Bawku was flourishing. So, you see, okay, you've done it. You see, it's very close, and because of the goods were using them, so that's what actually Bawku was known for when we were growing. That's Bawku, peaceful, strong, serious business town. And now, that is also shut down. Can we go back to this Bawku noted with Sankase, noted with goods? Yes. Can we go back to a robust border town that was prosperous, that brought property, made property for its people? Yes. Can we do that? Yes. But not to do that, our brothers, Asaase and Mampris must learn to live in peace. Before we do that, politicians must do. You see, the thing is that just read anything written by Machiavelli. But you see, people sometimes misunderstand Machiavelli. Machiavelli was not necessarily saying that use all the means to an end. Machiavelli was not being vulgar. Machiavelli was not being listened. Machiavelli was advocating for a strong state. Because as at the time that Machiavelli was advising the prince, Italy, they were in constant warfare. Constantly, or the city-states were fighting among themselves. So there was nothing like peace. Machiavelli saw that. They saw what happened to him. He was advocating for a very strong, powerful leader who will unite the place, the city-states, and allow peace to tranquil. To an extent, that was the kind of thing that Jerry Rawlings did. Stabilize the place long enough to drum out the coup mentality, transition to democracy, and that happened. Of course, when you do that, there are excesses, as they were in the PNDC era. But then that is why sometimes people still look at Jerry Rawlings as, okay, say whatever you say about his ills or his sins, but yeah, he stabled the country, ushered in a democracy that is one of the best in the world. You understand what I'm saying? So my point is that when you use all the means necessary to win the elections in Bawku and that area, then what do you do for the next 4 years? We can and we must make sure that we hold people accountable and responsible. And I hope, and I want to see the Autumn 4 committee succeed. They succeeded in the Dagbon crisis, and now there's lasting peace in Dagbon. I hope and I know that they will succeed here. But I also think that the way we campaign, look, again, it's difficult to tell a politician that don't do this and win. They will do whatever they can to win. But these same politicians must then ask themselves. And then you win and rule over what? And rule over who? Because you've turned the whole place upside down. I hear there were some skirmishes too in Pusiga, which is just a little bit above there. Why would you do that? You burn down the whole house, and then you come or you are standing outside. and you are trying to be a fireman again to restore the fire.
Okay, so the reason why I allowed Dr. Zato to go on is because of obviously he's talking to his own people.
That's right.
Yes. So Charles, I've seen that Maxwell Appiah has just said something here. He says Sikana, also known as no man's land. I don't know whether that's the name of the place. The Sikana means no man's land.
Okay, so as I said, I don't know. It was just popularly called Sankase.
Okay.
So it's in Burkina. I don't know what it's in Togo. Because the people just call Sankase.
I'm sure he's referring to the Sankase.
And people used to bring, as I said, what is noted for was that a lot of the goods came from there. So almost everybody that was wearing jeans around that time, it was from Sankase. It was Sankase. So a lot of the businessmen will travel will travel there, buy goods and come and sell. It was a very prosperous route.
So obviously something good can happen.
It used to be.
Yes. Okay, Charles. So your take on Bawku, I'm sure you have some reflections.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Wilberforce, and good morning to your listeners, and good morning to Dr. Jato. You know, whilst he was talking, I felt so sad. I mean, coming from that side of the country, and for years we've been talking about Bawku. So I was asking myself, is it like the Israeli or the Palestinian war? What is there to be processed? Because the Israeli and the Palestinian war has gone on for years, and I don't see them having peace because there's a land to be possessed. I don't know if it's the same thing that is actually transpiring in Bawku, that it's to do with people, a group of people having control over something. Then it means that it's going to be very difficult. However, as human beings, we always find ways of living together. You see, he was talking about politics playing a pivotal role in that. I agree. In Sekondi Takrady, we have the saying that you go and then buy illegal drugs with counterfeit money. You don't go for your change, do you? Okay. So
that's interesting.
Yes. Okay. So basically, applying that to politics, we're going for an election. The NDC, just like the Galamsey, illegal mining, they went in there and said, when we come in, we'd allow you to mine illegally. I mean, we've seen videos going around, and then saying again for this Bawku, you actually milk it to your advantage, but then you had no, good plans for them. So in effect, you're telling them they're just stupid. And for me, for us to have peace, I think it's going to take a long, time, and it's going to be very difficult because the thing has, gone deep down to the extent that we, the political parties, play politics with it at the time that it suits us. I'm not taking MPP out or NDC out. I'm talking about Ghana now because you see, just as the Galamsey, I'm going to be juxtaposing the two. We sit here in Accra, and then somebody's actually there has a mine, illegal mine, and then he's gotten people to be mining for him or her, and then all he does is fund them, and then he lives in Accra with his family. But then one way or the other, the effects of Galamsey will affect you. The oranges, the bananas, things that have grown out there eventually find its way to Accra, or even sometimes exported. The same vein, the Bawku case. See, there's so many weapons in the system. So we can sit here in Accra and say that, no, we do not care. It's just a small area of Ghana. But then it would come to Accra. Because I've heard people saying that when elections are actually approaching, they say, oh, let's go and look for vigilantes from Bawku. So it's fast becoming areas where people go for tax, and then vigilantes come and support them during the election to win an election. And the election itself, it's a legal thing. We have the police, we have the state agencies, but within a country, somebody who wants to go to parliament and actually promulgate laws for the country decides to go to Bawku or get people from Bawku to get him to win. Then what sort of laws are you going to promulgate when you get to parliament? Now, I think we all know most of the problems. So we are looking for solutions now. Because I would not sit here and say that we have a solution today or tomorrow. The Otunfo committee was actually announced by Nana Akufo-Addo. They've been working towards it. Just as I think we have the Dagbon case. which now we have peace.
Yes.
So the Dagbon case gives me the inspiration, gives me hope that we can actually find peace in Bawku. Because in Ghana, we marry from different tribes. You understand? We have a system where we intermarry each other. For me, I'm Nzema, Ahanta, Ewe, and Fanti, and I was born in Accra. So it's a mixture of things. So we have to actually find a way of coexisting. When I heard the IGP went there, I think 2 days ago, and I do not know if that statement came from him, but I heard people actually hitting him hard, saying that we're going to recruit people from Bawku, so they should put their arms down, and then they'll come in and actually recruit them and train them, screen them, and then train them well, and then send them into the army. Yes, people can change, but if I were one of those people who are actually agitating or part of the conflict, and if they tell me that, then we're going to get more people to come in there, pick up guns, and then also find their way into the police. But I see the difficulty that the IGP is in, because you see, arguably, I think we've all said that in charge, in terms of police operations, he's number one, right? We've said it. People have said it. Some of us in the MPP might not like it. Some in MPP might like it, because last week I was at his mother's funeral. Okay, but then our system is such that when the thing suits you, you say that it is good. When it doesn't, then you say that person is bad. We've said that he's been in charge of police operations. Whatever he did, whether right or wrong, he got results, right? That is why he's actually the IGP now. But I find the difficulty, I understand his difficulty, because and for the IGP to speak like that, if he did, then it means that the situation is enormous. It weighed on him. So he had to say something to bring peace. Because if they had guns, they can actually overpower the people. But he saw the enormity of the problem, and so he had to say something. So this should tell you how difficult it is going to be. Yes, I welcome the Tunfo committee. President Mahama has mentioned it again, even though Nana Akufo-Addo started it, they poo-pooed it. Let's all not say that because Akufo-Addo said it and now he's saying it, we the MPP are not going to support him. I think we need to support him, because if we're going to go into the next elections, we need a peaceful country. We need a peaceful country to win an elections. We do not want him to fail in that, in that area, because we might not even hold the elections if the Bawku conflict trickles down to Accra, Kumasi, and the other areas. So we'd support him, but I don't know if the state, is there a state of emergency there?
Is there a curfew there? Yes, I think there's a curfew. Yes.
So I think we should go further and then grant amnesty, so that all the weapons in the for a period, that if you have weapons, just surrender, bring the weapons, we'll let you go. I think that's how the starting point, because most people, yes, we're talking about peace. You remember Liberia, when Samson Buffalo, Major General Kwenu, and then Samuel Kayondo, and then Johnson, when they were going for peace, then they said no guns, but they had guns. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about peace, and then that's people still wield weapons in the system. I don't think it would augur well. So the starting point is maybe we grant amnesty, that whoever has weapons within the system, bring it.
But when Dr. Zato was talking, he did make mention of unknown faces. And I'm using the word unknown because of the question that I'm about asking.
Yes.
Is it that difficult for our security agencies to uncover these unknown faces? And Dr. Zato can also attempt to answer this question, because I think that in mediation,
yes,
if you are trying to mediate such a conflict, you need to look for the people who may be fueling this thing,
the opinion leaders,
yes, but are not necessarily on the ground, being the ones conducting the attacks.
Yes.
Because if you deal with them, you would have probably solved half of the problem.
Exactly.
Is it that difficult for our security agencies to uncover these people and to start the mediation process with them?
Okay, so you see, the Otunfo, he's not an indigenous of Bawku, but he's been asked, that he helps, just as he did for the Dagbon conflict. So it means that people from within who are influential, like Doc said, they're living in Accra. They will not go there. They live here with their family. So a lot of it should be done with education. Gone were the days when they said when a chief dies, they have to cut somebody's head. I don't think that thing, prevails anymore, does it? Because it was an olden thing. If it happens, we don't know, because now there are laws. If you do it, you go to prison. So maybe they do it discreetly, but I haven't seen. But I know that there are certain things that were said previously. I remember when we were kids, we were told that when you go to the bathroom, you do not sink because your father will die or something like that. But then later on, in science, we're told that maybe you swallow soap and it's not good the chemicals are not good for your health. So there are so many things that we said previously that today we've actually shifted because of technology, but then still the tradition remains. So having these influential people from those areas are good, because they can sit in Accra and then use their remote controls and then control a section of the crowd. And so it is not so much the guns, it is so much educating the people as to how important this is. Because somebody who was born, maybe born today, and they would actually educate the person by saying that your great grandparents got this land for you, so you never let it go. So that is where it has gotten to. So to start it, I think we need to negotiate with people, those in Accra. If people use it for political gains, I think we have to draw a line. We have to draw a line, because you don't have business using that, gaining from it politically to go to parliament. But I think that we should draw a line, because I'm saying this because it would come to Accra. It would get to Accra one day. Where do the guns come from? Burkina Faso and all that. Our borders are porous. So I would agree with you that we speak to these influential people. But aside of that, I think there should be amnesty, because somebody whose family member has been killed and all that would think that it is not worth it. But how do you get the person to come forward? Someone will also actually react differently and say that a family member was killed, so I have to go out there and revenge. That's where you use force, you understand? But the amnesty would help, because after the amnesty, then the police can go using full force. I think that's my suggestion to that.
Dr. Zato, I want your comment on this influencers and how we should be dealing with them. But just before you do that, Samuel Ofosu has sent a message. It's quite touching, because it looks like he has had interaction with the Bawku and all that. So let me just read it. It says, "Good morning, Wilberforce and your respected panelists. I had my teaching education at Pusiga, and most of my teaching practices were done at Bawku. At that time, Bawku was a peaceful coexistence, was a peaceful coexistence with all ethnicity in a serene environment. Businesses were going smoothly, even with the external countries. I had good friends. Some of them were Muslims until the coming of these selfish politicians. This was the state of Bawku. So the name, the place that you mentioned, Sankase, which is in Togo, was a market center. We usually do our shopping weekends. I intended. Okay, so that language is not too clear, but it says that I intended, brought this in. Okay, so he brought this in to let you have the serenity of the Kusasi and Mamprusi before the invasion of the 1992 party politics campaign that had created such a woeful environment. Even though there were minor issues with them, but not at this level. And so I think Samuel is agreeing with your assertion that it is the political establishment that has caused this problem, and we should lay it squarely on the political table if we want to deal with it. That is Samuel Ofosu's message. Doc.
No, it's true. As I said, both political parties have played roles in it. Even before Dr. Bawumia appeared on the political landscape, this issue was simmering. Even before he was appointed to be the MPP's running mate, this issue was simmering. So again, we must understand that it was simmering. It was going. But what I'm telling you is that the tribalism and the fanning the hatred between Mamprusi Kusasis was put on steroids during the last elections. Precisely because of Dr. Bawku, His Excellency Dr. Bawku. That's the argument I'm making. And I think, look, we have to clear. It was fun. It was fun, clearly fun, to achieve one simple political objective. That, look, this man, if he becomes the president of the Republic of Ghana, the Mampusis will take over your lands, they will take over your house, they will take you. It was as simple as that. That was just the message.
Mr. Mahama is obviously, he's a Gonja.
Yeah, he's a Gonja, far away from there. He's a Gonja.
Yeah.
He's a Gonja way, Savannah. Forget about the Gonjas. I can say that you can't.
Yeah.
As a Sisala, I can say that you can't. So that's it. It's far. So I see, sometimes we must be able to clearly state what happened or what's happening. If we don't do that, then we are also applying lip service. This is the clarity of what happened. The man was made a target. And you see, sometimes what happens is that when there's an issue, and you can then point to, like, say, it's him, this, body him, that's what it is. So they were told, this is the issue we have, and this is the man who will be. So he was portrayed. And all of a sudden, that became my target. And that's what I'm telling you, that you saw the kind of campaign. Anybody, look, I don't want to, I'm sure you've seen them, well, we've all seen them. Just go on Facebook and you can see audio, video of people making almost the same arguments. Almost the same argument. We've heard about this Bawku conflict a long time. I mean, in fact, I can say you can go back to the time of Honorable Hawa Yakubu Mehe, so can rest in perfect peace. When Honorable Ayaraga started contesting her, won against her, I think she also won against him. This is where they. What I'm saying is that it was, I don't want to say on the down low, it was there, but it was manageable. It could be. It was only when he said.
But I'm told that the member of parliament for Bawku, which is Ayariga, has family relations in both sides.
Almost all of them do. I'm not. Yes, he does. I hear so. But then, see, that's the point. That's the point we're making. So where was this? Where was it? It doesn't even matter. Look, and I'm asking myself, even if I am trying to win power there, then I know that I cannot win power and rule over one person and the other. The idea, the argument or the plan was simple. Use all means necessary possible. Say whatever possible to win power. Then when you now win power, now try to come back and see what you can do. You understand? And that is why Honorable Bishop made the case. You use fake money to buy whatever you buy, you cannot go back for your change. You forget about it. Except in the casino. In the casino, you can do that.
They can, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're able to take fake currency into a casino, they change the chips.
But you'll be scared to go back.
No, but you now have the chips. You go and change.
But what if the person knows that it's counterfeit and they're calling the
millions
police?
of people there and they are all losing. Anyway, it's sidetrack. The point I'm trying to make is that when you now campaign like that, when you now campaign on those terms, you've won power. And when you win, one side of the constituency is celebrating you, the other part is scared. Because now, you see, the fear changes. If your argument was that if you help make Dr. Bawku, his Excellency Bawku, the President of the Republic of Ghana, then these other people are going to rise up against you. He didn't win, of course. The man is in Accra, the man is living his life. But you have won. The other people also have a right to be suspicious, to now be like, okay, what is going to happen? You understand what I'm saying? The fear, there's a reversal of fortunes.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's why even we say the leaders must be magnanimous. Victory. Were they? When you won, were they magnanimous? Were they able to come and say, look, okay, I want this victory to be for all of us. How much have they extended the proverbial olive brand? How much have they been able to try to get there? You can't say it's just 3 months. No, you won. The elections was just you won, and the moment you won, you were declared on December 7th or December 8th. You knew the task ahead of you. What have they been able to do on them? By themselves. What I'm trying to at the end of the day, this crisis was not created by God. The Bawku crisis was not created by God. The Bawku crisis is not in any of the holy books. It's a crisis created by human beings. Men created it. And I think it's a high time we stop blaming political legacies for the colonial legacies for whatever it is. Yes, the British came in, but the British, they've left long ago. There has been enough time since the British left for us to then be able to address this particular issue and get it. So one, we can also then go back to blame the British for this. You could say they sowed the seeds, but then they did everywhere. There's no part of Ghana where the British colonized, they didn't try to influence all these issues. But all that, even in Ashanti, the Ashantis had no choice but to fight them wars, battles. The what's the name? The Fantis did. Everybody, wherever there was colonialism and the chieftaincy, a colonialism affected the chieftaincy. Its tentacles went there. But all these other people have been able, after how many years, to find ways and means of making sure that they extinguish the colonial vestiges and then use their own traditional means to find how to live in peace.
Okay, so Samuel again says that Honorable Larry Ayamba, Pusiga MP, was my course mate in the same classroom. Okay, so he's talking about, he's trying to lay emphasis on the fact that he knows all these people. All right, but George Tuya, and we are going to move on to this attempt to arrest Member of Parliament for Asaase South. That's the next conversation that we are going to have. But George Tuya says that, good morning, Wilberforce and your fine panelists. Do you remember that President Mahama promised to create a region for that part of the country as his solution to the conflict? What has become of that promise? Has he now gone back to Otumfuo for solution or resolution? Cows are trapped by their horns, but men are trapped by their words. And that's a Malawian proverb. Okay, I remember that former President Mahama did make that promise in the course of the campaign.
No, so how is a new region? Okay, so let's go to Pusiga, or you go to Bawku, Gozebla, and the Asaase process living there, right? In the same constituency, right? So the region you create, will it still have both Asaase and living in the same region, the same towns, in the same communities? No, I'm trying to understand.
Well, of course, and our architecture as a country is such that you don't have only Ashantis living in Ashanti region. You don't have only Gas living in Greater Accra. You don't have only Fantis living in.
No, so I'm trying to understand the idea of a new region, how it works to solve this problem. Because again, you go into Bawku town, you go into Bawku, the municipality, and the municipality is made up of Asaase and process. You separate them from the Upper East region, okay. But then it becomes a new region, call it whatever region. But then the two people still live there.
So for example, if you come to Bolga,
yes,
you will find Mamprusis and Kusasis in Bolga town.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Same for Navrongo.
Yes, but the majority of the people in Navrongo, forget about them too. They are Kasanes. They are forget about the Kasanes too.
Okay.
They can go anywhere they want. Forget about them too. They and the Gunjes, I don't care about them. Yeah, but they are mostly Kasanan people. Okay. You go to Bolga too. Okay, fine. They are Bulsas. No, not Bulsas. Sorry, Bulsa is further towards Upper West. But you have different people. But the other sides, I want to believe, Bawku, Zebila, Pusiga, so that is where you have, let me say, a larger majority of Mamprusis and Kosasis there. Now, if you split up that part, that is, I'm thinking if my geography serves me right, you are just looking up the municipalities that surrounds Burkina Faso and Togo, that northern corner there. Not the most north, so almost all of them will have borders with Burkina. What do you intend to do? I said, don't get it. What do you intend to do when you create a new region there? Because it will still be made up of these two people.
Okay, so yes, that's a subject matter for interrogation.
No. It should be the subject matter because I'm wondering. It will be because right now, the one of the things that is happening then is that almost all these people have moved. They are moving, let me say, further south. So they are coming to Bolga and Navrongo, other places. They're moving to Tamale and moving further because of this. And I'm saying families that can afford are moving their families. What will a new region do? There's resources that are going to be put. And remember, when you're going to do a new region, there has to be consultations. You then go to the and then you will try to organize a referendum, right? There has to be a referendum. Do you know what is going to happen in the campaign for the referendum? No, I'm not security. I'm just beginning to imagine. Think about it. Think about it. If you thought the last elections was vile, if you thought that the last elections, these tribal sentiments were used as keyboards, imagine what will happen if it is now a referendum in a very small, concentrated area to create a new region. Think about what is going to happen. First, look at the political aspect. all the NPP will be all over the place. Try to protect its interests. And if the NPP thinks that its interests will not be safe when a new regime is created, imagine what they will do. Oh, the NDC will be all over the place as a political party. If they think that their interests will be served as a political party with a new region there. So right their interest, politics is all about interest. You now have the two major political parties all pouring resources, people, vile propaganda in there to protect their interests. That is even before we count the people themselves. Any campaign there, any attempt to have a campaign there right now, any region, will be like throwing literally fuel into this toxic fire.
Okay, so the president must be singled out for criticism and condemnation. He made categorical statements about the fact that any time they, which is the NDC, are in power, there is peace in the area, and that hostilities escalate when MPP is in charge. The numerous press conferences by the Kusasi's youth suggest specific promises and assurances were made in high places. 18 citizens have since lost their lives since January 2025. They have blood on their hands, and that is Abdul Basit Mohammed's message. And then he concludes by saying that the IGP's operational skills could be questioned if his style is to go about begging and throwing his men under the bus by leaving them high and dry. Okay, so that's Abdul Basit Mohammed. He's actually my co-host for this show. Okay, and then there's Joshua who says that, good morning, I am watching you from Kojo Krom in the Esikado Ketan constituency. My regards to Honorable Charles Bisu. Oh, Charles, your constituency people are
your village people are
following you. Okay, and then there is Asante Isaac who says that Wilberforce, there are times when I listen to some academics, I cringe. But whenever I listen to Dr. Zato, oh my God, I suddenly have some sort of hope. Dr. Zato, you are a gem when it comes to political communication and national discourse. Hey, Charlie, you know, easy. This is Asante.
One from my village, but Asante is not from my village. Okay, thank you, Asante.
Okay, and then there is one black market AK-47 cost 55,000 to 60,000 Ghana cedis, and a round cost averagely 25 to 40 cedis. How and who is financing the conflict? So you get what Abdul is saying. They're saying that the cost of these guns that are being used there, 55,000 to 60,000 Ghana cedis for a gun. Wow. Amazing grace.
So you see, that's what I'm saying.
And you go, and Bawku is that underdeveloped.
And I'm telling you, so you see again, that's what I'm saying. We come look. Sometimes we shouldn't miss it. We should go back. There are people who and those supplying the guns, those fueling the guns, are not living in Bawku. This early morning, they've woken up in their mansions in Accra, in Kumasi, in Takrady, in Tamale, in Bolgatanga. They've woken up in their mansions. Maybe they've gone for keep fit. Maybe their children as up no school, they are playing video games. They're happy. They are preparing eggs, sausage, nice breakfast for them to eat. They've gone to. These are the people. These are the people that are that secure, that safe in whatever they're doing. The people, because that's what you're saying. How can a normal average person in the studio afford almost 60,000 cedis to buy a weapon? Somebody bought the weapon for him or her to go and kill himself. So this morning, the person is sitting down, but not drinking tea, sipping coffee, enjoying his sausage, enjoying his egg or orange juice. And then his children are playing video games and running around doing regular, normal children things. Well, he just sent you a brand new AK-47 yesterday to go and kill himself. That is what we're talking about. You see, in other places, look, and that's why sometimes I question the so-called intelligence we have. And I think in this country, we prefer to go for the brute force. We are dealing with these issues with that. Where is the intelligence tracking the money fuel in this? You can do that. In some smart places, you can do that. You can use the banking system. You can look what money is going here, who is fueling this, and you can always see what is. Some smart people can do that. Consider and say, look, let's look at the money, because mostly, see, if you understand, whenever you are doing war and there is money behind that, it is sometimes the money that fuels it. Yeah. If you cut off the money supplies, if you can say, imagine tomorrow you hit and say, we have found 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 people whom we can link directly with using their bank accounts to purchase this and to fuel this conflict in Bawku.
Yeah.
They are picked up. This equation changes.
Yeah.
It changes because then those who are financing, like, they are onto us. They'll stop financing. They'll stop buying the AK-47 for them. You understand? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we need to let intelligence lead. Where's intelligence? Where are the people? So you do that. So let the police try to do what they are doing. Let the army try to do what they are doing. Let the politicians do what they're doing. Let the Asante Hene keep doing what he's doing. But then you then also look at the money. Follow the money. Because whenever you follow the money to lead you there and see who is able to buy these things for them. Of course, already there are measures to make sure that any vehicle going inside Bawku, this is coming out, is checked for them. But no, they are still buying them. They have the money to buy them. Where they get it?
So the Americans tracked down Osama bin Laden not with AI digital technology, but through the postal service. That's how they tracked Osama bin Laden. He was posting items from his hideout into other places, and so by the post. That's all.
Islamabad.
So I can understand what you are saying. Okay.
See, you can't look. You consider and say, okay, look, who is? See, that's what I'm saying. Intelligence led. You have all the intelligence agencies in Bawku. You have some of them in the Upper East region, in Bolgatanga, that's the regional capital. They can coordinate and see who is capable of doing this. Who? And because an intelligence-led investigation, you can do that. You don't need to harass people. No, you don't need to intimidate people. You don't need to. They don't even know that they are watched and they are seen. Their financial transactions are being monitored. You understand? And then you want to see. You are trying to establish correlations. And then later you are trying to also see whether there are causal links. You are saying, look, hey, listen. This guy.
There could be external influences because they are so close to Burkina Faso.
There you go.
Burkina Faso itself has its own challenges.
And that's the point I'm making. That's how I'm saying that mostly in this country we like to go with the brute force approach. Where is the intelligence-led approach? But that approach does, as I said, a number of things. It then provides actionable intelligence, and you can use that intelligence. Because if the intelligence shows that every weekend Wilberforce sends this amount of money to this side check in Accra, we can begin to say, Wilberforce.
I wish I had the money.
We can begin to say that, okay, Wilberforce, you have some questions to answer here. And by the time we're asking those questions, we've seen the memo you've said. Especially now that E-Levy is gone, we see. You understand what I'm saying? We should do that too. And then you can even use that intelligence to then help, even with the mediation and Manshia, to then help with everything else. You should be. Because right now we are just shooting in the dark. Where's intelligence-led operations? Okay.
All right. So let's move the conversation on now, because this Bawku case obviously very interested. A lot of people very interested in it. So there's Chumda who says, Wilberforce, please, did you hear President Mahama's comment about the Bawku conflict when he was in opposition? And he says, amen. And he says, paraphrasing his comments, Bawku is always at peace when NDC is in government, and when it leaves, the place is in turmoil. Therefore, the people should vote them into power to restore peace. This is very unfortunate and disappointing, to say the least. We should elevate the discourse small. Okay, and then Mr. IGP, this is Chum Daku actually. Mr. IGP, is this what you can offer? My God, this is very unfortunate, and your style is becoming inimical to the peace process. Mr. Dampare approach was more nuanced recruitment. Okay, so much talk there about the style of the IGP. Yaowusu Bedu says that, good morning, Wilberforce. I am watching you from Bu. Is it Bu? BU. Okay. It's also in the Isikado Ketan constituency.
Or BU.
It's BU.
BU.
That's how it's
Butumenjebu.
called. Oh,
BU,
okay. So it's short form of Butiminjebu.
Yes.
Okay. I am glad to listen to such insightful discussions from your panelists. My regards to Charles. Okay, Charles Bisu. So yes, you have a lot of fans. Prayer for peace in Bawku. Lord God, and this is somebody praying for peace in Bawku. Lord God, we pray for peace in Bawku. Silence every voice of violence and division. Touch the hearts of those who cause trouble for selfish gain. Turn them from their ways. Raise up leaders who seek truth and unity. Let love, justice, and peace reign in Bawku. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Lazarus, thank you for your prayer. And I'm excited that you ended this discussion on Bawku with a prayer. Okay, so Charles, I'll come to you now. In the week in review, there was an attempt to arrest a sitting member of parliament because of certain comments that he had made with regard to some airplanes that came into the country and allegations that they came in for money laundering and drug-related matters. There's been condemnation about the attempt to arrest on one side, and on the other side, others are saying that though the MP's comments embarrassed the whole of Ghana and embarrassed the president, and so there must be some action. That is why they sent men, and I'm not sure they were women, they were men with masks, we have face covered. Actually in breach of the rules when it comes to arrest. Because if you are coming to arrest me, I must see your face. You must tell me why you are arresting me and all those kind of things. So your quick comments about it. Those who are for, those who are against. I don't know where you stand.
So thank you, Wilberforce. I watched a movie some years back. It's an American movie where a certain gentleman dressed like a police officer. No, actually not a police officer. He actually had a badge with the inscription FBI on it. This woman went shopping. He met the woman on a car park and then just came out with the badge and said, FBI, you're under arrest. Put handcuffs on the lady. The lady actually succumbed, sat the woman at the back of his vehicle, sent him somewhere, raped him, and then killed the woman. But this man's face was there, so eventually he was caught. Now, we have state institutions. People were voted into power, given the state apparatus to work with. So why then should somebody go to a known figure's home, covering your face? For me, it means that you know that the things that you're doing or you're about to do is not right. It also, what I actually deduced from that was that, yes, the people higher above gave them instructions, but those guys, when they got there, thought that we have to cover our faces because the discussion that our bosses were having will come back to bite us because they are not the ones on the field. We are on the field to plow for them to actually benefit for whatever it is, political gains or whatever. So for me, I do not blame the people who went there covering their faces because they're scared of repercussions because they know that what they were about to do was wrong, wasn't lawful. Now, a member of parliament, we, the citizens of Ghana, have entrusted our hope in him to actually the three arms of government, right? The executive, judiciary, and the executive. The job of the legislature is to actually check what the executive is doing. That's why we have the Public Accounts Committee, we have certain committees in Parliament that the executive reports to. Is that right? Okay. So if a member of Parliament who has been voted, and then enjoys that immunity, he's not enjoying the immunity as Reverend Ntim Fojo. He's enjoying the immunity as a member of Parliament who is supposed to be speaking for his constituency and the Ghana as a whole. Because if he leaves the shores of Ghana to actually negotiate or have a discussion for us, it is not just for the people of his constituency. It is for the whole of Ghana. So the committee that he chairs, it's for the entire country. Now, since the NDC came to power, we've heard of gold, being busted as a supplement. We've heard of is a counterfeit money. Something baffles me. I saw a video of the National Security Coordinator saying that they've seen boxes that emanate from the Bank of Ghana, and those boxes are genuine. However, the contents of that box were purported to be fake. How does that make sense? So these things call for investigations. I would have thought that when all these things were arrested, they actually bring it to the full glare of the Ghanaian public so that we see what is going on. So I don't see transparency there. Now, back to Reverend Ntim Fojo. He sits as the chairman of a committee.
He's a ranking member.
Exactly.
He's a ranking member of the
Defense and
Interior.
Yes. So he has every right to ask questions on our behalf. So whatever he was doing, he was not doing it in his capacity as Reverend or just Ntim Fojo. He was acting in the stead of his constituents and Ghanaians. Now, a few weeks ago, we heard about cocaine being busted in the central region, and then I mean twice, isn't it? So that amounts to about $500 million. And we should take this seriously. So if he comes out to say that, okay, I've seen a suspicious aircraft, okay, so I am thinking that he hasn't even said that, but from the way the discussions are going, that's what we're all deducing, that there's been gold, there's been money that they said is counterfeit, we've seen cocaine and all that. Nothing has been said about it. You said you are investigating the matter. The investigation has to be done, secretly or whatever it is. No. Whilst you're doing that, you should be updating the public. You understand? I remember in the UK some time back, there was this big, about $2.3 billion worth of cocaine. When the British government wanted to arrest people, they wanted the kingpins behind them. It took them about 3 or 4 years. But it didn't stop them for doing the little arrest. You understand? Catching the young guys, just as what Doc was saying about Bawku. You need to actually penetrate and then look for the kingpin behind the thing. But whilst you're doing that, it doesn't stop you from actually arresting those on the ground. The drug peddlers, the pushers,
people.
Yes, even those who actually take the drugs. Because that is a chain. You understand? But this is a situation where our political dispensation is such that we all suspect each other. Because if I'm sitting here and then an NDC person is sitting here, I might not even leave my food behind because I do not trust him. There's air of suspicion everywhere. And then you pass this amount of cocaine. We've had issues with cocaine in this country where the image of Ghana is actually at stake. I think that for us to actually make sure that we maintain that image that we have, which is the positive one, what stops the drug agency is in NACOC from actually briefing the state every day. You understand? That we have the culprits, the cocaine is here and all that, and then we'll be so that people know what's it. But everything was actually hanging about. So the member of parliament comes in to say there's an aircraft which is being there for 2 to 5 days. The cocaine, we do not know where it is. So let's know what's happening. Why then do you go to say you want to arrest him? It doesn't make sense. So the more you are trying to explain, the more we actually it becomes more suspicious.
Those who are complaining about that are saying that if you successfully get the country tagged with with drugs, it has the potential of affecting Ghanaians when they travel. They will be subjected to more searches. The international community will frown on us and all that, and so you should be circumspect.
So what I would have done is come out, press conference, say on the 7th of maybe February, we arrested X amount of quantity of cocaine. Here it is. We've tested it. It is here. Subsequent to that, this is the other one. This is the count. This is the full glare of the so the whole world, because technology travels today, for us to see what is going. So then Ghana will be seen as a transparent country. So what in Team for Joy is doing is for us to trigger to the world that we're a very transparent country. But as all this while, they haven't even told us where the cocaine is. We do not know where the counterfeit money is. We do not know where the fake gold is. So that is even playing into that.
And some say that nobody has also been prosecuted, nobody has been charged,
yes,
and all those kind of stuff,
yes,
or even arrested in the first place.
Apart from the 2 guys who were arrested but they are just errand boys, right? So by now we should have gotten the kingpins or the people behind the scene. You understand? So I think the law ball questions to be answered, because Felix Kwatiofosu arrogantly coming out, you see, and I think he's not just disrespecting Ghanaians, but he's disrespecting the president and exposing the president. I'm not saying the president is bad, but he's exposing, because he's my president now. And if I sit for a young person to expose him to that extent, then it means that the image of Ghana is actually in question. You understand? Because the president comes out, there are relevant agencies which should be dealing with this, right? NACOC, Ghana Airports Company, Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, under the Ministry of Transport, there are about 5 agencies. So once he comes out, gets to that, and the president says that these agencies should pick it up, it is the ministries of the various ministries that instruct the agencies to carry on and do the work, and then report back to the presidency. Once that is done, and there's a communication has to come out. All of them have to sit together before the communications minister comes out to speak. But then if you come out to say, if I were the president, this is what I would have done, it means that there's a big gap. The president is naked. He hasn't actually given you instructions. You're actually on your own frolic talking for the presidency of Ghana. And the presidency of Ghana does not belong to NDC alone. It belongs to all of us. So, and what the way he's going actually is going to affect a lot of younger people getting into such positions. Because if you speak that arrogantly, saying that, calling somebody a clown, the government spokesperson, where there's diplomacy and all that. So I feel that he's actually exposing the president, and the president must call him to order, because it's taking the president too long to even chastise him. Then it means that, in fact, you say what's to say, my former and can I say, and can we not to work on also then a be to wait. If I mean, I can't explain verbatim, but meaning that the president is condoning what Felix Ofosu-Kwakye is doing, because there are agencies, and all this time those agencies have not been triggered to investigate where the cocaine is, the aeroplane that came and all that. Came. Now there's technology. Whatever happens, we can Google the track any airline.
Flight where?
Exactly. If I'm going to the airport, picking somebody up at the airport, and the person is airborne, and the person tells me that I'm going to arrive at 9, I have a way of checking on my phone to say maybe the flight has delayed when the person is even airborne. So technology has come to help us. So I do not think that we're in the days where NDC used to say that Akufo-Addo was a lame person and that you shouldn't vote for him. Akufo-Addo was a hunchback. You shouldn't vote. And then people believe, because at that time technology wasn't rife. But now we have technology, so things can be verified. So I would have thought that, and then I think the agencies must come out during the week and then investigate the matter and leave that the ranking member alone, because he's doing a good job for the state. Even let's say it's a hoax, okay? Even if it's a hoax, it becomes something that we're all aware. We used to have this adverts in Ghana under Akufo-Addo say, see something, say something. Yes, he's seen something and he's saying something. So it's up to the investigative agencies to go ahead and investigate the matter and say the member of parliament said this, but we've investigated the matter. It didn't come to anything. Then the member of parliament will come out and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry, but this is what I saw. Because there's nothing like asking a wrong question.
Okay, so does it appear to you that the Minister for Government Communication may have gone ahead of the president's directives to the security agencies? Is that what I hear you saying? Because the president gave a clear directive. As soon as the member of parliament said what he said, the president bypassed every structure of communication in his government and spoke directly through his Facebook wall. So that was more like final, because when the president speaks in Ghana, nobody else can speak or challenge him. His word is final.
Okay.
But Felix comes 2 or 3 days after the president's directives to give communication, not telling us whether it is the findings of the investigations that the president ordered or not.
Yes.
And so some people are saying that why did he have to go ahead?
That reminds me of Kokwani, the whole heads must roll.
Okay.
You know? So it's a thing with the NDC, you understand? That's what I'm saying, that where's the leadership? Is it to the point where we, the adults, are doing what the kids do? We eat together with them and all that, so they do not respect us. Because you know the president, when I think he tweeted, right?
Yes,
but when
so both Twitter and Facebook.
Facebook, okay. So the president, whatever it is, he's a communicator. So he's told the whole world that this is what I'm doing. But there are internal structures. The internal structures are that the president formed ministries to actually which have to carry out his mandate, okay? So once the president speaks, each ministry has to pick up what belongs to the ministry and then go with it. Within the ministries, we have agencies. So under Ministry of Transport, we have Civil Aviation, right? We have Ghana to Airports Company. They are the agencies that have to do it. And there's drugs in there. That's the NACOC. It comes under security. So about 2 or 3 agencies come together, investigate the matter. But now you're going after the member of parliament. It means that you have something to hide. That's what they're portraying to us. You understand? So what stops you? Because the taxpayers pay you. So you come out and say, okay, what the member of parliament has said, we do not believe is true. However, the president spoke. We've carried out the president's instructions. We've communicated. We've communicated back to the president. Then the president can come back and then actually tweet again and say, This happened on maybe the 1st of March. I triggered it. Whilst I sent you the Facebook information, I triggered my internal things, structures, what you voted me to do. This has happened, and I'm telling you that there's nothing, or there is something. Then we're actually, building a country. But what you're doing, if a member of parliament comes out to say that I have seen something, I'm saying something, and you're going after him, what happens to the lay person? It means that we're going back to the military rule, the Rollins days, where nobody speaks, where kalabule, when you're baking bread and there's too much sugar, you get arrested. You know what I mean?
Baking bread and there's so much sugar.
Yeah, it says kalabule.
All right, some young people listening to us may not understand that. Okay, Doc, I'm sure from your political lenses as a political science lecturer, you are also analyzing this issue and wondering what is happening.
If you look at this issue carefully, what is happening is political amateurism at its best. We are seeing the amateur hour at the Jubilee House, especially with government communications. It's political amateurism. Because look, clearly, a ranking member came out and made allegations. The allegations were grave enough, were serious enough that the president himself says, let's investigate this. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't just throw this under the bus. We shouldn't just throw in the dustbin. We shouldn't just treat it as any other allegation outside it. Let's investigate it. We have not yet heard about what happened from that investigation. Then what we see is that the president's spokesman is at the crime scene, has full access to the crime scene with video, taking video and showing us the video. Wilberforce, if somebody brings in any good, if you bring your bag, if you flew in and bring your bag, mostly the planes empty, the buses discharges less than an hour, every bag is out. Mm-hmm. Because especially if it's making a transition for new bags to come in and go in. Now we're not told when they went there with the cameras to check. Mm-hmm. Do you still expect to see the plane's cargo in the plane when you went back there? Do you still expect to see it? Mm. So what was the government's communication trying to communicate? Let's take logic. Forget about anything. Well, let's take common sense. The plane was sitting there, country relegation, for 5 days. Now, you have gone to show us video of inside the plane. Mm-hmm. You don't tell us when it was taken. Mm-hmm. Because if it's a first day, why would the plane itself be recording itself its cargo? So
when, you know technology, if you go into it, where the picture was taken, the date and time that was taken can be done.
Mm-hmm. My point is that why the hurry to throw out information that there was nothing there when there's an official investigation going on? Your boss, the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, has commissioned an investigation.
Yep.
You are asked, look, an investigation is going on. Have patience, there are timelines. Maybe the investigation is for, I don't know whether the president put a timeline to it. I thought he stated
No, he did not.
Okay, whatever it was, look.
We can fish out his statement.
That is where you can then come and say, look, His Excellency the President has triggered an investigation. Yes. It will take some time. When the investigation comes, we promise to release the full undeducted report in the name of transparency. But for now, we are holding on because we don't want to make statements that may end up contravening what the President says. That is what I would think a matured, reasonable, sensible communicator would do. That's what I would call professionalism. That anything I say or don't say may be prejudicial to the investigation. Be ultra virus. Yeah. So I will wait. I will hold my horses. I have a lot to say, but I won't say it. I'll hold my horses and wait for this report to come on. And that when this report comes out, we'll then put it in the report and then let's debate it. And that whatever I have to say, I'll bring it. That's what you do, because you see, you don't want to be seen to be jumping over your balls. Yeah. We don't see that from the government. We don't see that from the government spokesman. We don't see that from the communications director of the NDC. We don't see that from both of them.
No, heads must roll.
You are on air, basically saying that nothing to see here. There's nothing here, nothing happened. This MP lied. Granted, the MP lied. Granted that Team Fojo didn't see anything. Granted that Team Fojo was just making noise. Granted that Team Fojo was being malicious. Was just playing politics. Was just saying things. Granted he was doing that. Why not wait for the evidence to come out to prove that? Why not wait? The president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Forces and all the security, covert and overt operation under his hand. If he had somebody say this, I don't think he would have just issued this statement without at least talking to some of these intelligence agencies. Kotoka International Airport is crawling with state spies and secret agents all over that place. All over that place. We all know this. When you are traveling, you are coming, you are going on. Their whole place, they are narco operators, they are state intelligence, everything crawling over the place. Some of them working with foreign agencies, foreign departments, check snooping.
Recently, we had an arrest. In fact, Dubuahini was arrested at the airport.
Yes.
So there were security operatives.
So my point is that they were there. They were there. So these people are there. My point is, so if that's the problem. The president wouldn't have just said this if he thought this. Now what? So what are we supposed to make of the president's directive? Imagine two scenarios. The report comes out and says, "No, nothing here to see, nothing there." The man lied. In the mandate code, the man lied. That means that Messrs. Sami Jemfi and Messrs. Felix Kosi were right all along. That there was nothing there. Okay. What if the intelligence now comes and say, "Yeah, we did find something"? What happens?
By the way things are going, we will not find anything.
Did they know? My question is, what do they know that we don't know? Because if you are, and why are you in a hurry to dismiss it? Because look, this is the point I'm saying. Imagine I am the intelligence officer, the spy, or the covert operative, tasked with what? Investigating this. Senior people have come out to say nothing to see here. And then I have something to see. What do you think I'm going to do? In the name of self-preservation, what will I do? In the name of protecting my job, what will I do? Come out against this powerful government people that have found something. That, hey, listen, guys, stop there. I have found something. I will come out. No. I mean, listen, in the name of self-preservation, I am the director of whatever at the airport, and I'm telling you this, I'll find something. I'll come and say, "Yeah, Felix, you were wrong or found something." You will say that. You have the balls to say that. You come and say, say, I think this we found something. You will no. Look, let's understand, because you've already prejudiced the process. You've polluted that water.
Exactly.
So look, as for arresting, until you know this, and I think that this is a ball that has been going on. It's kind of like Charles Kelly, we should call it. Because the NDC can tell you that there were some NDC MPs who were arrested, who were not supposed to be arrested. They can say that. So it's a false. Well, it's equivalency. You do me, I do you. So that battle is going on. So I don't want to go into there, because they can show you evidence, video, audio, all of that. Like, hey, you arrested this MP, you did this. Even though there are protocols, and those protocols are supposed to prevent such things, I think both parties have abused those protocols. Enough that there's enough blame now to share among them. So I want to hold off on that. So but that's the point. But the point we must be saying is that, why are you in this desperate attempt to dismiss the case? Because, and you see, there's something that is funny. I say I found this information. Then you go and you investigate information, and part of what I've said is true. Which parts? Where did the planes come from this place over this, and were they planes? Did they come? Yes, there were planes. The planes came. 2 different planes, 3 different planes. Did it happen? Yes, it happened. You understand what I'm saying? The planes came. You said the planes were at the airport for how long? Is it true? Yes, it's true. The planes came. They were at the airport for that long. So some of the things I've said, because if at first you just come and say, "Oh, no plane came," okay, or no, the planes that came, they didn't stay there for 5 days. But there are certain things that he said that contain there that are true, that we all now agree. The planes came. They came from Gran Canaria. They stayed there for 5. They did these things. What is now in contention at all is the content of those planes.
Yes.
including those who brought
no.
spare parts.
Let's say what was in it. That's the point. So the man says planes came. Did planes come? Yes. The man said the man said that something is unusual that for the planes to come and stay there for this long.
Yeah.
Is it true? Yes. Both the government has confirmed these things. The man then says, look, my theory is that, or I hypothesize that these planes were carrying narcotics and drugs. That part we don't know yet. My point is, if you've been able to establish these things, that is enough for you to work with. That's enough for you to go with. That's enough for you to do a background check of those who brought the plane. That's enough for you to do a background check of those who worked in the plane when it came. That's enough for you to say that to then begin search. You understand? That is how I would think that a smart, intelligent investigation will proceed. Because if they think the aircraft hadn't come, if it hadn't stayed there for this long, if there was nothing to see here, but the aircraft landed, the aircrafts were there. What I was hoping that you will now proceed. Okay, you will now say, look, let's hope. But that isn't what you do. You are poo-hooing the whole process.
Okay,
you are saying nothing to see here. My point is, as you do that, they are experts, they are people who are paid, they are professionals who are also investigating. So the question I want to know is the investigation still going on by the government? If you say, come and you made this allegation, come and help me verify it, and I say I will not come. There are security agencies that even know how to deal with unwilling or uncooperating people, right? Because if the argument is that just because this man refuses to come and give a testimony, we cannot investigate, then you don't call that an intelligent investigation. What if the man dies? No. So the man makes these allegations, he makes it, then the next day he dies. God forbid, but he dies. You mean to not be investigated? You mean to not be investigated?
Anyway, when Felix spoke, his communication was not his personal communication.
Yes.
He was speaking on behalf of the president and the government.
So the president called him a clown?
Is it that?
No.
So the president said,
Charles, Felix was.
Charles, no. Let me. I want to make a case. Look. Again, what I was saying. I'm saying let's take what we know. What we know is that the man made this allegation, and I'm saying that now you are saying that the whole argument is that this man must be brought in to what?
Yeah.
So call the police and tell the police that, look, I've seen a crime happen here. I've seen a woman being raped here. This is what I've seen. This is what I think. That is an official claim I've made. The police go there and they begin to investigate. Maybe the next day I die. The next day I'm not there. The police say, well, because this guy isn't there to come and tell us that the man has showed you something to go. You go there, you actually see a torn cloth, a torn dress, and you actually see somebody crying, saying these things. Now, there are things that you can do or should be able to do without me. But if you are now saying that precisely because I am not physically there to come and tell you that you have nothing to go on with the investigation I'm doing, then that's the way I ask the question. What if this man dies? The case dies? How then do you go about to say that what motivates the president to say that investigate this? And is it based on that? So look, what if you have unwilling and an uncooperative witness? We have that. It has happened.
Okay.
You are investigating something, there's an unwilling and uncooperative witness. So look, my point is that this attempt, this amateur attempt to complete this case, for me, that is what now reaches the point. What somebody is trying to hide something, and if so, what is the person trying to hide? Arrest Intim Fojo. Don't arrest Intim Fojo. Yesterday you arrested Neil and Van der Poel. Yesterday somebody was arrested. Let the MPs keep arresting themselves. Let them keep breaching their own protocols. That has happened because there's no blame to go among all of them. Let it happen, but don't ignore the main issue. Don't ignore the main issue. And you see, there's another thing that I don't understand, which has been happening. You're going to a minister's house to arrest him, and you go. The entourage is that loud. What are you expecting? Are you expecting gunfire? Look, what are you expecting from that house? Is it like, do you know, are there guns, are there weapons, are there things there that, what are you expecting?
He's a member of parliament.
No, I'm saying that he's a member of parliament, he has a bodyguard who has a gun. So he's already one of you, the bodyguard is already one of you. You can call him that.
Face covered.
He's not covered. So the point I'm saying that, if you are going there with 5 guns, 10 guns, 6 guns, whatever it is, 10, 20 agents, the man is a civilian. What kind of resistance are you expecting from that man?
Okay, I understand your frustration.
So finally, let me put this way. See, when in the period that you're supposed to have your honeymoon, you are facing these credibility issues. When the period that you're supposed to be enjoying, the news headlines are this bad for you at the beginning. It doesn't bode well for you going forward.
Okay, so let me just announce that Akosia Issa Menu has just joined us. He's a member of the MPP communications team and former parliamentary aspirant for Adentan constituency. Good morning to you, madam.
Good morning.
And it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes. I'm going to the telephone lines, and that's because Enoch Afuakwa is joining us, and he's a lawyer. I just want him to educate us on what does our laws say when it comes to arrest? Because there's been so much confusion that you can't arrest without a warrant and all those kind of things. When I hear something like that, I cry. I say, hey, the little that I know you can arrest without warrant, and even a police officer of a certain rank, from I think assistant superintendent of police also can arrest you without a warrant, can search your house and all that. So let's get some education about this issue of arrest and all that. So lawyer Enoch Afuakwa, good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
And
thank you. Very good morning to my senior members in your studio, and my sister Akosia Menu, who has just joined you.
Yes, thank you for your patience over the telephone. Can you briefly just tell us on issues of arrest as far as our criminal procedure is concerned? And I know that is Act 30 and all that. What are the recommendations that the law make when it comes to arrest?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say that the whole system of the criminal justice system is centered on the fundamental human rights and usage of every citizen. So certainly, every person, being it an officer of the law or a private citizen like me, or have the powers of arrest. But the powers of arrest of the private persons are limited to a certain extent. The powers of arrest of the police or law enforcement officers are also regulated or guided by law. And insofar as they have the power to arrest or the powers of arrest, they cannot do things in their own way. It must be in conformity with what the statutes prescribe. So basically, we have certain categories of people. We all say that there is equality before the law, but we all understand that there are some persons who have been granted specific statuses within the body policies of the governance architecture of our country, like the President of the Republic of Ghana. Although he's a citizen of Ghana, but he's not on the same standing with we the citizens because of his status in Ghana as the President of the Republic. He's treated in a particular light as far as our constitutional provisions are concerned. In respect of our members of parliament, the Speaker of Parliament and the Clerk of Parliament, they are also treated in a specific way as far as our criminal proceedings or our criminal justice system is also concerned. So, the question is, when you are inviting somebody to assist in investigation, is there any order of compulsion that the person must think in all certainty to come and assist you to investigate a matter of concern? Because you want the person to assist in investigation. The person is not under arrest. You have the power to arrest someone if you think that the person is at the verge of committing a crime, or is in the process of committing a crime, or the person has committed a crime. If you want me to assist in investigation, then certainly you must approach me with certain dignity as prescribed by law. In the recent instance that we are all discussing currently on the matter of Honorable Reverend Johnny Timfojo. He's a member of Parliament. He's a citizen of this country. And we all are aware, it's judicial notice that for the past one month, in the past 1 month, I think the month of February or so, there has been range of narcotic drugs in our country, range of narcotic drugs, of which some persons are standing trial before the High Court of the Republic. Some persons were arrested, somewhere in Tedu or in the Central Region of the Republic of Ghana on suspicion of being in possession of substance that is suspected to be narcotic substances, i.e. cocaine. There has been some messages, some correspondence. There has been some news items, articles that we are all reading. And the whole people in this republic are alarmed as to the magnitude, as to the volumes of narcotic substances that we are recording as far as our country is concerned. And we all know that in terms of the international system, human trafficking, drug trafficking, and all these are international crimes. And it doesn't border only on the country called Ghana. Because Ghana is only a unit within the international system. Because as far as the international system is concerned, it is nation states that makes up the international system. And because we are all governed by our individual laws, we are also governed by international laws and conventions of which we have signed onto and treaties that we have signed onto as a country. So we have an international obligation to be able to ensure that our country is not used as a haven or as a conduit in terms of the perpetuating international crimes in the nature of drug trafficking and the like. So when a member of parliament who has an oversight responsibility, a member of parliament representing his people, a member of parliament with oversight responsibility as far as the governance of this country is concerned, raises questions as to the level of range of narcotic substances that has been shipped through our country in recent times. What crimes has he committed? And if you want to, if you are inviting him to assist in investigation, does it occasion a breach of his immunity against arrest, his immunity against prosecution enshrined under Article 117? That's the parent law of this country. For Christ's sake, the immunity against arrest and prosecutions of members of parliament is not stated in an act of parliament that has been passed by parliament. That is the parent law, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and that must be treated in a certain light. So I was amazed to have heard that persons believed to be coming from the office, the National Intelligence Bureau, has visited the home, or they have invaded the home of Honorable Reverend Johnny Tim Fodio in mass. They are not even disclosing their identity with guns, trying to, as it were, raid him off his premises. And for Christ's sake, it is a breach of his right to privacy, which is also guaranteed under our Constitution, under Article 18 of our Constitution. He has that right. And that invasion amounts to a breach of his fundamental human rights as a person. So, in as much as we are promoting democratic ideals and principles as a people of this country, we must be sure that state entities regulated by law must conform to the laws that we have promulgated to be able to ensure that due processes are followed as far as maintaining the governance system, maintaining law and order, and promoting the human rights and fundamental usages of our people are concerned.
Okay, so what do you think would have been the best approach, assuming that the state security agencies, obviously the state security agencies have a right to arrest anyone if they are doing any investigations and all that. What do you think would have been the best process to have been used as far as the Reverend Tim Fojo is concerned, assuming that assuming that he was a person of interest to assist the ongoing investigations that the president requested? What should have been the mode? Is it that they should have invited him? Some have said that, they should have gone to the speaker before they do and all that kind of stuff. What would have been the best approach?
Yes, by convention and by practice. If you want to invite a member of parliament, or if you want to arrest a member of parliament, or serve any process, be it criminal or civil process on a member of parliament, the speaker of parliament or the clerk of parliament, you write to the speaker, seeking the audience of the speaker to release that member of parliament in that manner, or to serve the process through the speaker of parliament. Because the law is clear that when a member of parliament is on his way to parliament or his way out of parliament, he can a civil or criminal process cannot be served on the member of parliament, or you cannot arrest the member of parliament. There is a mischief behind why the framers of the Constitution introduced that clause in our Constitution. The reason is that, let us take our mind back to is it the 8th Parliament, where the New Patriotic Party had 137 members of parliament. the National Democratic Congress had 137 members of parliament with just one independent member of parliament, assuming without admitting that the president then or the government then intended to pass a certain bill of which they feel that because of the numbers game, they have no strength to be able to push that through. So why not? Let us get some members of parliament in the opposition side arrested so that they are prevented from getting into the chamber of parliament to be able to perform their sacred constitutional duty of representation and make sure that in their absence, we get those bills passed. So I believe that it is in furtherance of the interest of the people of this country. That is why the framers of the constitution introduced that clause. So if you want to be sure that the member of parliament is on his way to parliament or on his way out of parliament or performing a particular task of parliament, you need to write to the Speaker of Parliament who assigns specific tasks to the members of Parliament to get clearance that, at this time, the member of Parliament is not performing any parliamentary duty, is not performing any parliamentary task. So you can have him or her to assist you in the investigation or assist you in whatever interview that you want to have with the member of Parliament. That is the sacred procedure that the National Intelligence Bureau ought to have performed. Indeed, if they involve themselves in this manner, then it means that they are getting themselves used by political actors, and in furtherance of that, taking the sacred image and standing of the National Intelligence Bureau as far as gathering of intelligence and protecting the national security of this country is concerned. The moment you give chance for the citizens to be able to read political interest and political limits into your actions, then it means that it defaces logic, that people begin to trust the outcome of your investigation and begin to, the confidence that people have in the National Intelligence Bureau begin to erode. So I believe that the Director General of the National Intelligence Bureau must step up and begin to assess where they have erred, come out as an institution to apologize to the people of this country and get things done in the way. I am one person that respects the sacred duties and standards of the National Intelligence Bureau. And I always equate the National Intelligence Bureau to the Federal Bureau of Intelligence in the United States of America. Because if you get closer to them, and I have in the past months been working closely with the National Intelligence Bureau, and the sort of work that they are doing there, we need to clap for them as the people of this country. But when they give themselves up in following political instructions to be breaching human rights provisions, to be breaching constitutional provisions and Article 117, the arrest of a member of parliament in this magnitude, to be invading into the homes of citizens, masking their faces and carrying guns as terrorists, invading the privacy and invading the homes and kidnapping people in this magnitude. Then you give the people power under Article 13(2)(a) to also defend themselves, and in defending themselves, anything can happen. Because once the Constitution guarantees that once even you shoot to kill, in furtherance of the defense of your life or your property, you can have solace under Article 13(2)(a) of the Constitution. Then you are giving room for unjust, for misunderstanding, for chaos to happen in this country, of which we don't want to get into that standard. We believe that the court has the judicial power, and judicial power is inherent in the court. So sacredly, once they do their work rightly under the procedures established by law, take it to the court so that the people also have a reasonable defense and to be able to defend themselves.
Okay. All right. So, Council, we are going to leave it there. Thank you for joining in and bringing your thoughts to this. We hope to see you in the studio sometime soon. So that is Enoch Afuakwa. He's a lawyer in private practice, and he joined us on the line with his thoughts. I'm told that Nick Bakbo Samoa Ado is also on the telephone line. He couldn't make it to the studio today. So before I come to Akosia, let me bring Nick Bakbo in to the conversation. Nick, good morning to you. And where are you hiding? Why are you not here?
That way I'm hiding is not your wahala. But you kept me on the line for so long. You're paneling for that matter. So I am not amused at you at all.
Big man, and you have a big post. You even come here, even late. 1 hour late. Even come on call Christ 1 hour late. You now that you're a big man, hey, you now a big boss, board chairman, board plenty. You don't even call self, you be late. You
have been talking plenty. You have been listening to you.
That's because I'm here.
I know. Sir, you are lucky. You are lucky I'm not there today.
So why are you not here? Small post to chop, no, you don't come again.
I had another engagement. You know, I'm always in the studio. Yeah. It's just today is an unfortunate thing that I couldn't make it.
Okay,
Greetings to all our lovely listeners and viewers. I must apologize for for my access today.
That is
but
fine.
I still joined the show. That's why I'm still upset at Wilberforce for keeping me on the line for more than 20 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Not allowing me to fire at you from the beginning.
No, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
So I need you to make your share your thoughts with us about this whole arrest attempt. And I know you will justify it, but give us cogent reasons why you are justifying
it.
No,
but my brother Wilberforce, let us be fair to the fact. Okay, this is not the first time that a public officer or someone in the public eye has been invited or arrested. You understand? For making a statement. Let me take you back. You remember Mr. E.T. Mensah? Do you recall when Mr. E.T. Mensah was invited because he had made a statement at a public event which the then BNI considered to be inflammatory and possibly could incite a coup. It was a very innocuous statement at the time, and I wish you would Google it. E.T. Mensah was kept overnight. He was a sitting member of parliament at the time. He was invited and kept overnight. You understand? That is not the first time that a member of parliament has been invited. You understand? So I do not know why we are creating a whole, noise, some will say ugly noises about the fact that a member of parliament has been invited, and in his invitation, he has the NIB went to his house and went to attempt to arrest him, and there was a compromise. As far as I know, the minority leader intervened and came to an understanding with the NIB authorities that the Reverend Minister will be brought in the next day. And that ended it. But let nobody be out there saying that the NIB cannot obtain an arrest warrant and seek to execute the arrest warrant. They have every right to do so. Now the point is parliamentary privilege. There is a standing understanding, you understand, with the Speaker of Parliament, between the Speaker of Parliament and the security agents, that normally you write to Mr. Speaker for the release of the member of Parliament, and normally if it is a statement that will be taken, that statement will be taken in the presence of Parliament, normally in the Speaker's the Speaker's conference room, with the presence of the President's lawyers and sometimes the lawyers of the legal department of Parliament. But that arrangement still does not preclude any security agency from going to court seeking an arrest warrant, with or without even an arrest warrant, and seeking to arrest a citizen for that matter and a member of Parliament. Nobody is above the law. If the member of Parliament, and there's a procedure, if you believe that as a member of Parliament your privilege has been breached, you make a formal complaint to the Speaker, and the matter will be referred to the Privileges Committee, and whoever allegedly breached your privilege will be summoned to Parliament to appear before the Privileges Committee, because that will be in contempt of Parliament to interfere with a member of Parliament who is on his way or who is coming from Parliament on his way to Parliament, and you seek to execute a criminal summons on him, and he believes that you are in breach. So there's a remedy available, and I think that once there's a remedy available, if Reverend Intim feels that his rights have been violated in any way, he will go through the parliamentary process. But until that is done, I don't see where we can fault the security, because there's a lot of precedent for this. You understand?
So the president you are talking about, did these people go into the houses there with their faces covered in mask and all that? Is that what happened?
My good friend, the presidential commission that was set up after Ayawaso, let's first establish the fact that it was the MPP that introduced masked security men or national security into our body politic. Let's establish that fact. And I dare anybody to challenge me that there is no video evidence of masked men parading as national security personnel who were deployed at Ayawaso Wagon in the first place. So let's establish that as a principle, that it was the MPP as a political party and the MPP government that brought in the issue of masked men into our security service, especially the national security, you understand, as we know it. When the commission was set up under President Nana Addo, the commission made a recommendation. It is embedded that there should be no masked men in national security. There's a recommendation like that. What did we see the national security do? Did they implement it? They did not. And so, even though, because the white paper, the recommendations were never accepted by the government. The MPP government did not accept the white paper recommendations in the white paper that they issued. They never accepted the recommendations of the commission. So when I hear people saying that why should we have masked men in national security, I find it very hypocritical. Well, if you ask the security experts, they say that it is for the protection of the identity of these operatives, because as national security operatives, they sometimes have to go underground. I've seen pictures of ICE agents in the US and others who are masked, who are conducting raids in pursuance of the Trump policy on deportation. So it is not new that security, undercover security agents or national security personnel, or even police personnel for that matter, do not always appear with their plain faces. But what is important is, were they identifiable? All the agents that we saw in the pictures were wearing fatigues of police. There was police written boldly on their vest. So are we saying that we couldn't identify the people who were there in terms of where they were coming from? Everybody knew, and that is how come the minority leader was able to talk to the authorities at the National Investigation Bureau to allow them to effect the arrest the next day, i.e. the reverend coming over to their end the very next day. So the first point that has to be made is, it is the FPP government acting through their security agencies at the time that introduced masked men into our security service.
Are you suggesting that? Are you suggesting that? Are you suggesting that until MPP came to office? No, hold on. Are you suggesting that until MPP Akufo-Addo came to office, no security agency had worn a face mask to arrest anybody before? No, I think I have a problem with you limiting it to the MPP government. Yes, I have a problem with you limiting it to the MPP government. I think you should say that it's something that exists in the security services.
Wilberforce, please. I am dealing with records. You are a student of the law. Until Ayawaso Wagon incident, give me documented evidence of national security operatives, people parading as national security operatives who were hooded. Indeed, it is during the commission's investigation that we realized that people like Double, people who were selling phones, phone repairers, had been recruited into our security agencies and given 3 months training by the MPP as national security operatives. 3 months training. It is during the commission's work that we found out those things. And the commission made specific recommendations that, number one, the armed wing of the national security should be demobilized and that people should not be wearing masks. What was the white paper from Nana Akufo-Addo's government in response to that? President Nana Akufo-Addo's government, the acclaimed human rights activist, what was his response? If the government then had issued a white paper banning the things that the recommendations had upheld, we will not be here today. The NPP government issued a white paper and discounted all the recommendations. So why should you complain when your government discounts the recommendations of the Ayawaso Wagon Commission, and a new government comes and continues the way you left off? Then you are the one coming to cry.
Okay, I need you to stay on. Hold on. I need you to stay on, and that's because you are saying some things that there are other people who also have a counter. Because in one breath, you seem to be saying that the people who went there with their faces covered need to protect their identity because sometimes they go undercover. Then in another breath, you are trying to blame the MPP government by saying that the previous MPP government did not sign on to a white paper. So which is which? Is it that the MPP government did something right because the people that go hooded have to protect their image because they go undercover, or the MPP government?
You don't seem to understand. You don't seem to understand the argument. Listen carefully. What I'm saying, number one, is that I'm exposing the hypocrisy behind the argument. The person who is making the argument and who is crying today is crying because he wants to portray himself as never having done anything wrong in the past. You understand? The victim, the so-called victim today, is crying. The MPP is crying as if they've never been in government. So I'm exposing the double tone that this is a government that sponsored, that had its security apparatus go to Ayawaso in hooded man, and the videos are there. Do you understand? They established a commission of inquiry. The commission of inquiry made specific recommendations that in order to hold people accountable, do not have hooded persons, you understand, do not deploy hooded persons who are in national security. The government then decided not to use that recommendation. And I guess they didn't use it because, well, they felt that it will hamper the work of the security operatives. So how do you, when you were in government, not uphold a recommendation, and then when we come and we use the same method, you understand, where the people are hooded, you are coming to complain that you don't understand why hooded people should be deployed to somebody's house.
So
That's the hypocrisy I'm talking
Charles
about.
has an intervention. Just listen to him, and then I'll come to Akusia. Akusia has
the hypocrisy I'm talking about.
Hello,
Yes, Charles, please go ahead.
Okay, so thanks for explaining the hypocrisy. We're in April 2025 now, okay? So NDC were voted to correct the wrongs of MPP. Is that right? So are you saying that going into the member of parliament's home to arrest him with masks and all that, is it right today? Are you saying that it's right for them to do that today?
Let me give you an answer. You see, I always like it when the stick that was used to beat Kechi is used to beat Bar. Then when Bar realizes that
so we can never shape the future of this country.
Hold on.
So we can never shape the future of this country.
Let me finish, my brother. You asked me a question. I'm saying that Kechi took a stick and used it to beat Bar. Bar has taken the stick and used it to beat Kechi. Now we are even. So now moving forward, you and I can agree that, let's go back to the commission's recommendation. If today we all realize that deploying hooded people to go and arrest people is not good, at least we've all tasted it. So we all come to an agreement that today you and I can agree that, moving forward.
Okay, so I get you. So let me understand something.
My brother, why?
No, I missed you. So let me understand something, please. Without most respect. Let me finish. No, so I need to understand something, please.
My brother, why?
No, I need to understand something before you move on, respectfully. So you're saying that because MPP did it, it has to be done now, and then we move forward. Is that what you're saying?
You don't get me. Listen to me. I'm saying that he who feels it knows it. So when you were doing it, and the commission said that desist from it, you didn't find it necessary. You found it not necessary to uphold that recommendation. Today, when it was done to your member, you have realized that, it is painful. It is not right. You don't like it. So you felt the fire that we had felt previously. So now, once both of us have felt the heat of the fire, we can now all come to a realization that based on the experience, all of us can agree that, moving forward, when we are arresting politically exposed persons or members of parliament, blah, blah, blah. Let us legislate, for example. So you and I can all agree that the members of parliament should bring a bipartisan bill. You understand? In support of the constitution. That once the constitution says that members of parliament, when serving them with criminal summons, blah, 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 we should go through a certain procedure. We are enacting a law that will say that for members of parliament, when you want to arrest them, invite them, this is the procedure, and we put it into law. Then everybody is protected. Then we can also legislate that for the purposes of identification of our security agents.
One more question.
Nobody should go around in mass. We should have identifying tags and all that. We can go that.
Okay,
but you cannot. When you were in government, do something, and then when we come and repeat it, you don't come and pontificate. That is where the problem is.
Okay,
If we want us to arrive at a bipartisan solution, let's arrive at a bipartisan solution. But don't come and condemn what you have already done.
Okay.
That is what I consider to be hypocritical.
All right, so everything that MPP did that was wrong will be revenged, and they will move forward from that. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that there is a very good avenue. You understand? That when you and I we interact nicely, you and I can come to a conclusion. And I think we are getting to that point where we are saying that, and unless you don't agree with me that we should all agree to do a bipartisan legislation which will uphold the provisions of the 1992 Constitution and detail in legislation the method by which men should be what? Should be arrested or invited by the security agents. Are you agreeing with me on that?
Okay, Ni. All right. So let me come to Akosia now. And Akosia, to get you to respond to some of the comments that Ni has made and also to state your position on this attempted arrest issue that we are dealing with today. Akosia. Finally.
You know, it's very disappointing to hear him speak the way he's speaking. And I wish he was in the studio this morning. I've sat here with him on multiple occasions, and he seemed to be at least level-headed about government issues and whatever problems pertained at the time. For him to pivot to such a very reckless argument, saying that, I don't know, power is funny, isn't it? Look at how he was screaming and shouting and agitating, even on phone. I wish he was here in person. It is ridiculous for him to say the things he said, that a white paper as issued in, what was it? The Ayahuasca West issue was about 5 years ago, and subsequently within a year, that white paper was a conclusion drawn on whatever remedies had to happen at the time. If you tell us that we didn't do it, and as a result, that is why we are seeing marksmen, at the same time you are defending the identity of the marksmen, then it means you don't even know what you are saying. Now, I want to take it all the way to, let's take it back so we understand the issues, at least broadly for me. I didn't pay attention to Reverend's issues as far as the suspicious jets were concerned till I saw the spirited defense and insults from the spokesperson, the Minister of Government Communication, as that's the targets. Then also another staffer from the Jubilee House labeling him Osofo. I don't even want to pander to the derogatory terms they used on him. So I sat back and I said, but if somebody has raised an issue, and the president has actually gone to his social media and used his Facebook to say that there should be an investigation to the matter, all you need to say is that the president says we'll investigate. I'll subsequently follow up on the security agencies that are tasked to investigate, and I'll give you feedback on it. That's all. Simple. You don't raise any alarms. You don't confuse anybody. You don't let anybody sit back and say, you are telling us 1 + 1 is 7, which is indeed what happened. Subsequently, this same spokesperson, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, takes to his social media one Sunday and puts a photograph of a plane being what? Serviced. And beyond the servicing, at the same time, around the same time, less than 30 minutes, multiple media houses have released footage of cargo planes. One had Caucasians, mixed race people, whatever, standing around and seemingly inspecting something. That plane was orange and grey. Another one had grey and black. Now, it's funny, you see, when you lie and you're not smart in lying, everything that you say in response to the lie is an afterthought. Because by the end of Monday, Felix had inadvertently introduced 4 planes into the conversation. NA23 AM, which Reverend Fojo has always had as why did they come, where did they come from and all that. Felix picture that he posted, N864 AM, which he says came with equipment and spare parts for the first one, NA23. Then the 2 cargo planes. Come on. So we ask a question. Why are you giving us a spirited defense and all you're saying is lies? And all of this, we've all run away or departed from the very issue of why airmates move. Was it a medical evacuation? Was there a patient on board? Was it lifting organs? What was it doing? We've run away from what its core function is as far as moving those planes are concerned. Nobody's asking. Where is the what do you call that? The list when you have people on board a plane. What's it called?
Manifest.
The manifest. Who was a pilot? Was there an assistant? Was there a technician? Was there a physician assistant? Was there a doctor? Was there a nurse? We ran away from all of that and we position it on Reverend being a liar. Who is a bigger liar than you? Because you presented the facts. The facts as it were. And if anybody comes to say that even the president is not aware of these issues, I beg to differ. Because Felix is speaking the mind of the president when he comes to sit here and talk to us or radio, wherever he is. On Asempa FM, he said they are not even interested in following the investigation as far as they are concerned, but to make an example of Reverend Intim Fortune. Was that a threat? Certainly wasn't. Because to have 15 to 20 men move into his house, a member of parliament for that matter, if we were to say that yes, nobody's above the law, granted, but there are certain privileges that come with certain positions in this country. So that if I go and steal something, the speed with which the police will move to me will be different from the man on the street just selling coconuts or whatever. That's the reality that we are in. You claim he was invited by NIB and that invitation went through the speaker. How come we haven't seen the letter? Knowing how they like to release things and evidence and all that. Why haven't we seen that letter? Inviting him, time stamped, so that we know that on this date at this time, the speaker received this letter as he said. He kept insisting that I haven't received any such invitation. And he wasn't lying. But subsequently, all of them, all up in arms, spinning. A week ago today on Newsfile, Sami Jemfi left his gold board that he hasn't finished, setting up, to go and sit in the studios to go at the Reverend. Right after, it was a spirited PR defense on social media to bring the Reverend down, along with some nasty accusations on X. Yeah. And that is what they do. When they can't stick to the issue, then they have to move to your person and ascribe all sorts of silly, filthy things to you. What we are asking for, and I hope it happens, is that I spoke of a bipartisan probe. The Honorable Abu Jinapo, who subsequently has written a letter to the diplomatic corps asking for an investigation into the matter. Why? Because we are sitting here in Ghana, by and large, Wilberforce. Look, when I worked at the National Youth Authority, the few times I represented Ghana on platforms, the minute you say you're a Ghanaian, the respect you are accorded, because they know what Ghana represents. So you guys are doing so well. Don't even tell you, oh, free SHS, because they've heard about it. They tell you all sorts of good things that they are hearing. So to dent an image within 100 days, I am not saying that it brought illicit drugs. But now that conversation has come in because these airmates found their way into Gran Canary around the same time that 600 kilos of cocaine went missing, with the street value of $250 million. Within 100 days, your NDC member of parliament, your NDC parliamentary candidate, one Charles Hagan, whose driver was apprehended upon a suspicion, 120 slabs of cocaine worth $150 million. Ask us, where has that case landed? Where? What is happening with that matter? Within 100 days, the confiscated cocaine is bigger than what even New York City chases in a given year, as far as their drug mafias are concerned. New York City in Pomfane. This small Ghana that we are in your 100 days, you are doing double track on illegalities, from illicit drugs, well, I'm not saying illicit drugs, but from what people are saying, you can conjecture, you can add 1 + 1 and you get 2. You can sit back, even if it was a conspiracy theorist, looking at the feedback from government spokesperson. What is your interest in this matter?
Yeah.
That's why your video. You are pushing a certain narrative, you are forcing it down our throats. And even when common AI, vet what the minister said, it will tell you. First of all, you tell us that Luanda doesn't have a hangar to service planes or the problem that they had. Lies. You said that the plane came from came straight from
the Luanda one. He says that there was a certification that is required. The plane was going into the EU system and it required a certain certification, but that certification was not available in the Luandan airport.
So civil aviation or Ghana airport companies could have.
Don't mind
but
them.
it has been confirmed that certification
They have it.
Luanda airport
Yes, they have it. They've
That's
had it
what
since
Akusi has
2023.
Okay.
Yes. So conflicting aircraft registration numbers. You have disputed maintenance timelines, contradiction on flight routing. You also have the cargo, whatever they are carrying, whatever legal things that plane was carrying, we still don't know. There was this funny AirMed release. It still didn't factor in the documentation as far as what it was carrying was concerned. Now, of course, the videos and the pictures that you presented to us. So, if I sit back and I say that, I'm not saying that hats off, you started with illicit drugs, but I'm saying that based on what you said, it's a barefaced lie. Why isn't he being invited to tell us why he gave us that detail? Who presented him that information? He sat down and put 2 and 2 together and said, let me force it down Ghanaians' throats. So you've deepened public mistrust on this issue. In your first 100 days, look at this scandal of this magnitude. Of course, if you had stuck to what the president has said, but for him to pivot to come and attack, it means I was sanctioned. How can the Minister of Government Communications just set off and say that I'm going to say something contrary to the mind of the president? It doesn't add up.
Of the 2 guys there.
It doesn't add up.
2 guys by the aeroplane.
And then you have
Pablo and
you have a letter written by Ghana Airport Company Limited, which seems to be like a political, I don't even know, tainted, dismissive, arrogant, the worst tone I've ever seen from a public institution. You issue it and tell us in your first 2 statements that it was National Security and Swissport and Ghana Civil Association that are responsible for transit and airplane times and cargo and whatnot. And then in your statement in your point 3, you state categorically that there was no illicit drugs on the plane, illicit substances on the plane. Based on what? You just gave excuses in your first 2 that it has nothing to do with you. Then you conclude in your 3rd point that there was nothing on the plane. Then you add then that you are going to sue. Who are you going to sue? In the person of the CEO who is sitting there, or in the person of Ghana Airport Company Limited. There's a reason why institutions cannot go to the court to take persons on for whatever they quote as defamation. Because public institutions are supposed to take feedback from the public and improve upon whatever services they have. So you are threatening to sue who? Based on information that the government spokesperson gave us. We are raising questions. You say you are going to sue. Then you come to Reverend Fojo. You decide that you are going to go into his house with 15 or was it 20? Somebody said they even look like bouncers or something. And I remember I was having a meeting. I was sitting in Adringano, Kahaya, when I saw the message and I saw somebody drop the location. I was literally 22 minutes away from me, but I hadn't finished the meeting because I actually wanted to go there as well. And you see the videos, those who got there first, the videos are put, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is this? Really? That you are actually even treating him as if he's the one he's part of a mafia or cartel, and you are scared that he has guns and he has security in his house and will probably fire back if your people move. How can this happen? And then you tell us that, there's instances in the past. Those instances in the past, did you see 20 people move into the person's house, into the person's home? Did you see any such thing? And then today, Nick Pakpo, who is a lawyer, calls into this show and justifies this within 100 days of power, so intoxicated, you don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed in him. In any case, congratulations to him, because all that he did here has manifested in a very good opposition for him. But it would not.
Thanks, Asaase.
Thanks to Asaase. I hope he brings his 10% every month. You guys need to charge him for the exposure. You cannot, in good conscience, sit here and justify this. There's absolutely everything wrong with it. Look, there's nothing even vindictive or abrasive or antagonistic about Reverend Intim Fojo. No. All he's done as a ranking member on defense and on interior and defense is to raise questions, valid questions. Your spirited defense, your insulting posture, your arrogant posture is what has led us to this situation where we are asking those questions. Because some of these planes have found themselves twice into an island where there was a cocaine bust. So if questions are being asked, then you definitely need to answer. It's again based on what you fed us. So next time when you're in a hurry to come and defend, think about it. That is this lie I'm going to tell. Will people read into it? After all, you said you've beaten us black and blue. We admit it. But our job as opposition is to make sure that you do the right thing, and we'll ensure nobody's going to keep quiet. People say, hey, you found your voice. Why? We shouldn't find our voices. Like, hundreds of brilliant people are home on the ticket of the MPP, minding their business, and you think that they're not going to poke holes into things you tell us. In the reset that you promised, you are telling us reset, Nick Papo, that white paper, in the 100 days that you've appointed somebody at NIB, why can't he implement those things? When they're handing over notes, if they look at the handing over notes, oh, white paper, okay, what was done, what was it? You found everything wrong with it when you were in opposition. You come to power, you are on radio justifying this. When you have an opportunity to reset, as you say, in the 100 days, 12 hospitals have been commissioned. Hospitals that you told us were not functioning, not fit for purpose, cannot be used. You have commissioned 12 hospitals. Original hospital, that doesn't it take 18 months to build one? You've commissioned it and acted as if it was your government has magically put something together. We are watching. You promised tariffs will go down, reset, tariffs will go down. ECG 14 points, 14+% up. Water 4%, reset. So we reset forward or we are resetting backwards.
Okay, so
please let him not even make it that you guys didn't implement a white paper. No, that is the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard. As a defense from anybody on their side.
Abdul Basit Mahama is saying something. Says, what exactly did Intim Fojo say? He said that a dump truck, also known as a tipper truck, was seen moving to a construction site, positioning itself and lifting its bucket. And even though that bucket was actually empty, this activity is usually and possibly suspicious, and it could serve as circumstantial evidence of a crime committed at the site. Anyone who owns that site should be interested in what the truck was doing, rather than demanding hard evidence from a curious bystander. And that is a comment that comes in from Abdul. So concerning cocaine saga, in which your colleague pastor has raised the public attention, I think there is a hidden truth in which the NDC and the Mahama administration wants to hide. It will serve the image of Ghanaian people better overseas if the reality of the saga becomes transparent. I am appealing to the government's machinery to allow this case to be dealt with within the respective security and intelligence authority, not to blacklist Ghana in the international crime list. If transparency is not sought, an average Ghanaian traveler will be harassed and embarrassed by the security system in cross-international borders. Why should we allow few people's wrong desires to affect more than 33 million people living here in Ghana?
Yes. Let me add something. Again, you see, there was something that they used to do so well in opposition, where they will articulate a certain position, which is a lie, and hold on to it for dear life. He told us that marksmen were introduced by MPP. Yes. Isn't that what he said? In 2015-2016, when security operatives accosted the party office, MPP party office, were they not in masks? Were they not in masks? Or that time he didn't think that the masks were actual masks. It was makeup. It was part of their gear. Let's not even get into those very flimsy, petty politicking that they do.
Okay, so sometimes it seems security agencies momentarily lose their minds, forgetting that the person they aim to embarrass with a dramatic arrest can simply choose to remain silent and even request a good meal to sustain their silence.
A good. Oh, this person.
That is okay. New will suffer the same thing after 2028. Oh, what I say New will suffer? That is Kuku or Himins Boache.
No, but you see, it's very worrying because you see, there are things that they did, and we are seeing evidence of it now. You dial up religious sentiments, you dial up ethnic, tribal sentiments, and now look at what is happening in Bawku. You saw the press conference from the Asaase group a couple of days ago. They stated categorically that you lied to us, meaning that they used it as a means of campaigning, promises, politics, and these things you don't do. Now, since January, 18 people have died in Bawku. Why? And now you realize that, Opimso is the one to help you fix the problem. Now you know Opimso can help you fix the problem.
Who is Opimso?
Otunfo.
Okay. That's his other title. I didn't know that. Okay. All right. So I'm coming back to the studio, but Ni has joined us back again on the line. His line dropped, and so I'll go back to him. But there are a lot of interesting messages here for Ni Papo. So Tete
we
Moses,
don't have
for
time.
example,
So how many minutes?
We don't have time.
No. We don't. Yes.
It's not. He should have been here.
Don't worry. Tete Moses says that this Ni Papo makes me very sad when he seeks to justify wrongdoing all the time.
Exactly.
He seems not to be capable of saying what is wrong from what is right. Being a lawyer, he should do better. Okay, all right. So that is Tete's message. And then Senior Ni holding brief again. We will soon be talking about a killing of a citizen or security officer during an arrest. Then we will go about seeking up or setting up commissions of inquiry to look in rogue state agencies. And so yes, it looks like a lot of people are attacking Ni Papo's comments because they think that the justification is not.
So you should come and apologize.
It's not so. Okay. So as for Ni Papo, thus the country should never make progress from the past. If he thinks wrongs were done in the past, such as E.T. Mensah, he still justifies the same wrong today. Really? He says E.T. Mensah was invited by the security, but Reverend Tim Fojo's home was vandalized. People like him should never get access to platform. Okay, all right. So Kojo says that if you have nothing to say, just don't come and. Okay, so a lot of people attacking Ni Papo this morning. All right,
we heard him loud and clear.
So Christopher says that make police first come up in 20. So mass police men first came up in 2016. They appeared with President Mahama on a state or campaign function. Here, Ni, I am really shocked by what you are saying. Give a man power and money and up. Okay, so give a man power and money, and up will see him, and you will see his real character. So it's not correctly stated there. Ni has disappointed me. Okay, that's Christopher. And then anytime Ni Papo Samoa Ado speaks to defend his government, it creates public indulgence for more exposure against the NDC politics. Ni must know this. Okay, so some plenty tribute there. If I try to read it right now, I'll have problems. Okay, yes,
please.
Let me come to you.
Yes. Okay.
I'll come to you after Charles.
Okay. So basically, I thought you said Ni was on the line.
Yeah, he is.
No, but
he will respond.
No, but that's disrespectful because he should be here talking with us.
Yeah.
You understand?
So today we are giving him permission because he had to be in Sogakope for some function.
Then they could have brought somebody else because whatever he's doing, I mean, he's being clever about it. He throws in things and then we argue about it because now he's changing the course of what we're discussing. You understand? So we're not going to respond to it. He just should come back and apologize because if it happened yesterday, we're trying to build a country. So if it happened yesterday, it shouldn't happen today by justifying it with a white paper. Now, you see, I saw the aircraft here and I was asking whether it was a Pablo or Rielo or something. You know, the most important thing is that Tim Fojo has said something. Any citizen of this country has the right to air their views. he's aired his view. We have relevant agencies that must investigate that matter. I think that's where we should actually, head towards. Because like Akosia said, now if we're having to travel out of the country, that means that we're in opposition. You see, we all have to shrink up our luggage. You understand? Close them tightly, because if we are not finding, if indeed about $500 million worth of cocaine has been found in this country, and we still do not know where it is. The investigative agencies are not coming out to say, coming in with the integrity. You should have actually come out with press conferences every now and then to brief us, okay, as where about these confiscated drugs are. But we do not know. And now they're actually focusing on an individual. What I am thinking is that they're actually trying to change the narrative, and that we do not focus on what has actually transpired. Somebody also said that during the time of MPP, we're smuggling illegal drugs. That's why nobody was caught. That is not true, because even if it happened, we do not have evidence to actually to aver with that. I believe that this has been caught. Let us actually introspect and then actually investigate these ones and then move forward, because the image of Ghana is very important. The NDC came in the first 100 days. President Mahama, just as I said about Galamsey, yesterday I saw a 9-member committee being inaugurated to audit licenses. This was done in 2019 or 2018. It was audited. And the things that the NPP government did for the Galamsey, it's the same thing that actually what they're doing. River guards, auditing of licenses and all that. So the document is there. The government came out with a roadmap, and then the community mining scheme was there. The only problem that we have is the monitoring and supervision of whatever has happened. But then, like we said, when we are actually going in for an election, we tend to lie. That's why I said that you go out there, buy illegal drugs with counterfeit money, you cannot go for a change. And that is what is happening now. Because when you audit, you see, because the problem when we came in 2017, for example, the Galamsey thing, we knew that one license owns about 5 concessions, and then it was audited, so it was 1-to-1. So I would have thought that the minister taking over in the Galamsey realm would actually come out and say, this is where we are, and this is where we're going. So there's a clear path. But you are coming back, everything that was done, you're reinventing it. So it means that the next 2-3 years will be where we are. And I've said that the problem with Galamsey is what? Supervision and monitoring. Now, this Intim Fojo thing, he's a citizen of Ghana. He's recognized everywhere, so he cannot run outside the confines of this country. I believe that they should write to the speaker. The minority will go there and then speak for him. But he spoke in the capacity of a ranking member. We voted him to become a member of parliament, so he's speaking for us. You understand? So the relevant agencies that were actually enacted by law should actually be triggered to do what they are expected to do. And I also conclude by saying that Felix Osukwachi is going to block the chances of other youthful guys, people coming into government. Because with the arrogance that he spoke, I think he should come back. Yeah, because if he's speaking for the president is the one calling Intim Fojo a clown. You understand? These are not the words that should emanate from the presidency. I don't think Akufo-Addo's time it was like that, even though they kept denigrating him and all that, but it wasn't like that. So posterity will judge us. But I do not want a situation where we say it happened 5 years ago, so we are actually revenging and actually moving forward. It shouldn't happen.
So under the Akufo-Addo government, it was Mustafa Hamid started as information spokesperson, Kojo Opon Nkrumah took over, and then later Fatima to Abubakar. So these are the 3 names who were officially.
And I was at the presidency.
None of them ever.
Yes,
ever.
I was at the president. Whatever happens,
ever.
Yes, the president comes out to speak. Okay, the relevant agents pick whatever belongs to them as within their mandate. They come up with cogent information before the Ministry of Information comes out to speak. You understand? So,
and I think that the SML, for example, the SML allegation, the president ordered an audit.
Yes.
KPMG did the audits and they came up with a report.
Exactly.
There was demand by public that make the full report. The president first issued a redacted statement out of the report.
Exactly.
But there were a lot of calls. And so subsequently, the president decided to make public the entire report.
Exactly.
Without taking anything out. So give the report to everybody, make your own judgments. And these allegations were raised not by a member of parliament, but it was by a journalist.
Yes.
And that's your friend, doctor's friend, what's his name? Manasseh.
Azuri.
Yes,
okay.
Azuri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can get something similar.
So, but if you are the government spokesperson, and then you come out and then you churn out something and say the president said this is what we want to do, and then you come back and say that if I were the president, this is what I would have done. It means that you're disrespecting the president.
Okay.
And then yesterday somebody told me something that he saw the president in a white outfit. You understand?
In the Navy outfit.
In the Navy outfit, okay. And that the president is saying that the country has been militarized and all that, so we're going to use the brute force in dealing with people, and that's what happened. A lay person, a white seller saying this. You understand? So that's the image that we are creating for this country, and I don't think this should be this is the Ghana we want.
Okay, all right. So, Doc, before I come to you, let me go to Nee, and that's because he needs to respond to the observations that people are making. They are not happy with the comments that he has made, as in saying that something was done wrong in the past and it is being repeated now, and those who did it in the past are complaining. They shouldn't be complaining. They should just endure it. And Nee, that is the arguments that your fans are saying on Facebook and other places. They need you to respond to it.
Let me re-emphasize that. Let me, maybe, you see, the account say, I'm going to emphasize it.
Why are you saying that?
Let's go to 18th May 2001. Title of story is a GNA report. Arrest of E.T. Mensah was legal. And at that time, Alhaji Malik Alasan Yakubu was the Minister of Interior. And he read a statement in Parliament. And I'm going to highlight the key portion for the education of my sister and good friend who is in your studio. Alhaji Malik Alasan Yakubu, Minister of the Interior.
2001, so 24 years ago.
This is 2001.
For the benefit of the Gen Zs who are listening.
When you were talking, nobody interfered.
You're not in the studio.
Let's show each other that respect.
You're not in the studio.
Alhaji Malik Alasan Yakubu, the Minister of Interior, said the arrest and detention of Mr. E.T. Mensah by the Bureau of National Investigations was legal and proper. Quote, as a national security agency, the BNI has the duty to act timely, decisively, and effectively when national security is threatened. In a statement read by the minister in Parliament on the arrest of the member of Parliament for Ningo Prapra, E.T. Mensah was a sitting member of Parliament, which resulted in a 4-day boycott of parliamentary proceedings by the NDC minority group. He said, when they acted that way, they did in the E.T. Mensah case, they are only discharging, that's the NID, they are only discharging their duty as expected of them. And then he explained the circumstances, which was even ridiculous. E.T. Mensah was arrested because a statement was heard by people around him. Listen further. According to explaining the circumstances of the arrest, Mr. Malik Yakubu said security agencies received intelligence reports which suggested that the member was involved in activities aimed at inciting the youth of Nima to demonstrate to enjoying certain targets, including the Nima and Gotobabi police station. According to intelligence reports, on Thursday, 10th May 2001, certain persons who are closely associated with E.T. Mensah were sighted in and around Nima, contacting people of suspicious character in furtherance of this plan. Then he said, on the same day, Thursday, when the delegation from Parliament visited victims at the 37 military hospital, the member was quoted as telling someone that our plan is working well. So for making that statement, our plan is working well, Mr. E.T. Mensah was invited to the NIB. He was arrested and detained for 48 hours. Listen to the minister there. The honorable minister was kept for 48 hours, which is within the limits of Article 14 Clause 39B of the Constitution. He was allowed to contact his lawyer and his wife whilst he was being held for questioning. Alhaji Yakubu said the PNI was acting in consonance and within the confines of the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act of 1996, Act 526, and Section 200 of the Criminal Code of 1960, Act 20 now. Now listen to what Papa Ushu Ankuma, the Deputy Majority Leader, said at a press conference. He said, as an institution, that's Parliament, will lay down rules, regulations, and procedures governing its affairs. Parliament is only seized with a matter when it is formally brought to its attention to enable members debate it on the floor and decision to be taken on it thereafter. What has changed? What has changed? That is the hypocrisy of this NPP group.
Today, what has changed? What has changed? No, this is not Akosia. This is Wilberforce. This is Wilberforce. It's not Akosia. It's Wilberforce. So what has changed is what has changed, not the fact that we have changed governments.
So when the government in 2001 arrested a member, a sitting member of parliament, kept him for 48 hours, came to parliament to issue a statement saying that you can arrest a member of parliament and that the BNI was doing its work and it is legitimate in accordance with Article 14 of the Constitution and the Intelligence Act. And then the minority then come and say that the only time Parliament can be seized with the matter is if you file a formal complaint on the floor of Parliament for a debate. Why is the MPP not doing the same? What has changed? Why are you making noise in our ears at the moment when you know all the procedures you use? In 2001, you justify it on the floor of Parliament. And today you are saying what? Sometimes I think that's why I say all of us agree that
in 2025
we should adopt legislation to safeguard the immunities that are contained in the Constitution. Let that be the way. But you can do it from 2001, even up to now. And when something is done to your member of parliament, the same thing that you have done to other people, you come out and complain.
Okay.
What kind of double standard is that?
So the 2001 and 2025, that's a period of 24 years.
We don't have principles anymore. We don't live by
we are
legitimizing.
He's legitimizing revenge.
Okay,
all right, that's essentially what he said.
Because of time,
we don't live by principle results anymore.
You have no principles, Ni. You have no principles. Because if you had any principle, mocking our challenges of COVID-19 to do a U-turn and blame Singh for the issues we have, there are no principles as far as you are concerned. Zero principles as far as your party is concerned. We are seeing the reset. We will not sack people. You've sent it to monumental levels. We will not. What was the most recent thing? Back to double track. We will not go back on double track. You are reevaluating it. Everything you felt you had a problem with. Now you are holding on to it for dear life. You are using it as an excuse. You said that there's even a public sector freeze. Galamsey is even worse. Galamsey that you talked about. Go and listen to the spokespersons of your party at the time. Now you have party chairmen and youth leaders in your organization NDC championing Galamsey. What is worse than that? That is the actual crime scene that you were telling us here in Ghana a couple of months ago. And it's all in your head. 100 days, you have double-tracked Galamsey, illicit drug peddling as alleged, amongst other woeful things that is on your head right now. 100 days, nothing to show for it. But commissioning, hospitals that we've already built. Please, don't come here and justify revenge. 2001, what you read, did you see marksmen entering E.T. Mensah's house with Max? Did you see 2001 justifying the late E.T. Mensah? I'm sure if he was alive, he would have come to even come and speak to the matter. Please, don't justify this. And what you said was even worse. Your comeback was that if we felt bothered and triggered by what you said, it's even going to be worse. Guess what? We are all in this Ghana. When all is said and done, the fallout from this, I don't think you can contain it if you continue to peddle this route. And I least expected you to champion this cause. I said it. That you saying this really shocked me. But then it goes to show that indeed, then Felix and whatever they said and whatever they are doing is speaking the mind of John Mahama. If it's not, then it means he's not in charge. But thank you very much for avoiding being in the studio. Because I think it would have been very, very terrible for us here today. He's a brother, but
that is why I'm not joining the conversation.
Yes,
between the two
you
of
become a third person.
It's between the two of you. So, let's maybe when I come to you, you'll bring down the fire.
Oh no! Please, how you say this?
All of us. You see, me. That's what happens when you don't come here. Me now he's a big man, probably has fuel coupons. So as for me, I won't say anything bad though. So after this, if you feel like sending me some fuel coupons on campus, just send it in the car. I'll take it though. But look, when I started this and I made that point, there's a lot, he said that we can do this equivalency thing, false equivalency or real equivalency. I actually saw some posts about the former MP Neelante van der Poel talking about his experience in the Hanok. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of that to go around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. So the question can be, well, do we continue it, or who gets to stop it? Who doesn't? There's a lot of that going on. But my point is, right now, that is obfuscating the real issue at hand. And that's what I'm saying, because look, in this, they can show you, in this people can show you that NPP did this to me, they did this to me. That is true. That there's a lot of that. We can and we should, as a country, move forward. And the reset would have been or should have been a better place to start a different narrative. But I think that the reset is rather perpetuating that old narrative. So I don't know whether we need a default, whether we need an upgrade, whatever we need something. But it is not doing that. But I'm saying that this talk is obscuring the real issue. The real issue is that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, has ordered an investigation into issues of probable or alleged cocaine bust at Kotoka International Airport involving some aircrafts. He has done that. That is the real issue. That's the meat of the matter. When are we likely going to see that report? What will likely be in that report? Every Ghanaian should be interested in what the president will find. Every president should be interested in what the president may not find. And every president should be interested in what happens after that. So for me, these are side talks. Again, as I said, it's a real issue, because I can just imagine waking up in the morning and evening to see heavily armed men coming to your house, and you and your children, they're all scared, they're frightened. Yeah, so I'm not trying to in any way downplay, but I'm saying if we go under that tangent, we are missing out. There is alleged cocaine bust, or there is alleged that aircraft, because you see, there are some simple questions that about that aircraft meeting. Did it bring a passenger to the country?
No, according to Felix, it came empty.
So and went back empty. It didn't continue, because I saw a flag track that says that it came and went back to where it came from, which is kind of weird.
Okay.
No, I can understand. Let's say you picked a patient, let's say from New York to Accra, and then you went back to New York. That's normal. But this aircraft came to Accra. It had a problem. The problem was fixed. But where was it going when the problem got fixed?
So according to Felix, the aircraft, the first aircraft, originated from Luanda and was heading to the EU market.
Yes.
But while heading there, it had to make a technical stop in Ghana. Technical stop.
Agree.
Upon making the technical stop, then they discovered that they had some engine blade problem and tie something problem. So they had to fix them. So another plane came in from Luanda
again
with spare parts and engineers from Luanda to come and fix the problem that the first plane encountered. So that they can go back to the EU market. That's the first story. Yes.
No, but again, after that, did it go back to EU market? Went back to where it went back to Luanda.
So where the plane subsequently went.
I don't care. Look, I don't care.
According to Felix.
Look. It's my job. No. I don't give you a damn. I don't care whatever happens. But whatever the Reverend said was serious enough for the President of the Republic, who has access to classified information, to say, investigate this. The President did not dismiss it. The President did not say, because, and you see, I want to believe that the President will not just make that statement just because there was something in the news. He's not Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump who does that. He can sit and watch you on the news. He's not able to hear tweets about it. No. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would not just say that because Ntim Fojo said this, let's investigate. He would have probably received some preliminary intelligence report. Somebody in the presidency would have called somebody somewhere. Hey, what this guy says? There's something to it.
So he's not talking out of vacuum.
Okay. Is this guy talking from his behind, or is there something? Did somebody pick up something? There has to be that. What I mean is that there has to be some, I don't want to say prima facie, for you to launch a fully scale investigation. The elders in my village say this: if you are in the river taking a shower, then you raise your head and you see a crazy man has come, he's picked your clothing and is running away. You don't run after him. Because when you do, people will know the difference. All they see is a naked man chasing after another man holding his clothing.
Another naked man.
So if His Excellency the President heard this, and he knew that there was nothing, he wouldn't, because see, the moment you are the President, you say, let's investigate this, you've raised it to probably the highest level in the country. You've raised it to a level that you cannot go beyond because it's you. Look, if it was just between ordinary Honorable Sami Jemfi, Honorable Felix Kwache, it could be the usual political play ball that Honorable Menu and Honorable Bissau are having. We could say it's the normal thing we have. It's the normal Saturday political chatter. We can do that. But the moment His Excellency raises it, it goes. For me, then the question I'm asking is that these two people are they not undermining that same investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Your boss says, National Security, investigate this. National Security is investigating it. You go on it to say, nothing here to see. So
maybe that was the result of the National Security.
But we've not seen it. That's not what they said. I'm just saying they didn't say, oh, National Security has finished. They've issued a report to the president. And the president would then issue a statement. That's all, at least that could be the procedure. That should be the regular thing. Or National Security has finished. Here's their report. Or a spokesman of National Security come and look, we are done with the investigation. Then nothing to see here. Nothing, was just all bull or horse shit. Sorry, pardon my French. We've not heard that. But you are rather undermining that same investigation by saying that there's nothing to be seen here. Okay. And that's why I came out with my first question. Imagine it was me. Jabunti, I'm the one tasked with investigating this. I go on TV and I see the spokesman of the president, who is also a member of parliament, saying that there's nothing here. Meanwhile, I'm still shifting through files. Meanwhile, I have men out there questioning suspects or potential or real suspects. Meanwhile, I'm collecting intelligence. I'm liaising with foreign agencies, international, other people for evidence. You say nothing here. So what do I do? Stop investigating? Because my boss says there's nothing here. Stop or continue. What if I then continue investigating? And remember, Jubilee House is powerful. It's powerful. That's what the whole national security establishment is. So, do you think this man now has the balls, a pair, to now come and issue a statement and tell his bosses in the Jubilee House that, yeah, you see, the time that you said there was nothing here, there's plenty to see. You think he can do that? You think the person can do that? So what? See, you don't say somebody go and do something. As the person is doing it, you are undermining him. You are digging the person's shoe because, wait, that's all I'm just saying. Couldn't they have just waited? Couldn't Messrs. Felix and Messrs. This guy just have waited a bit for the investigation to finish? Yes. Couldn't they have just done that? And then imagine the investigation came and there's nothing. And then now you can roast the reverend. Now you can crucify the reverend on the cross. Easter is coming up. Now you can say that. But you now go in the mind, what if it comes and says there's something? So for me, are you not undoing the president? Because this issue will do the then we used to play, but it will stay. Look, I've never seen a government lose a lot of its goodwill in 100 days than this government. This whole week, what has been the headlines? This is the headline. What good thing did you hear this whole week? We are ending the week with tariff increase. If the week before it was Galamsey, this whole week is, I can assure you, watch the headlines on Monday.
There was ECG containers. You have forgotten that one.
So what I'm saying, you watch what has been dominating the headlines is 100 days. And that's the point. That is why you've seen that nobody has seen their goodwill eroded as fast as this government is saying it. There has to be a reason why. My theory is that people are finding it difficult to transition from a campaign mode to governance mode. People are finding it difficult to realize that when you are in government, you have to take some hits. So you have to behave like an adult. And that sometimes means to once in a while, shut up. That sometimes once in a while, to just let it go, because you cannot be trigger happy or a trigger friendly cop when you are in government. You cannot just be respond everything to rapid fire, because when you do that, events, because you now have to behave like the responsible adult in the house. People are having that problem, and it's precisely because of that problem that we are here, that these things are leading. Look, you went back to containers.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Finally, what I'm saying is this. Your Excellency, I'm still interested. Like seconds. All Ghanaians, I'm still interested in the outcome of that investigation. And I hope and pray that it does end, it does lead to its logical conclusion.
Charles, 30 seconds.
Okay, so for me, I think I'll take cue from that. There has to be an investigation. Those agencies are creation of law. Ghana Airports Company, Ghana Civil Aviation. Funny enough, the Director General was sacked, right? Charles Kreku.
Yes.
Around the same time, and I was just going through my Facebook. So somebody said Dan Parry was sacked because he found cocaine and all that. So you see that suspicion.
They are all unnecessary.
Yes.
And it could be cured
with
the investigation.
Exactly. So those agencies that creation of laws, our laws, should investigate the matter. And then also with the Bawku issue, I think that they have to grant an amnesty. I mean, that should go concurrently with Otunfo's committee, whatever they're doing. Because if we're able to take the guns out and then actually go in heavy-handed, being strict on them, following that, I think it would go a long way.
Excellent. So Akosia, our beautiful Akosia, will have the last word today.
You know, all this morning, I'm very sad, especially with what Nick Papo has said, and then by reinforcing that woeful position. I feel that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I feel he's in trouble. Staffers routinely stating they do not agree with the position he took, and that if they were president, they would do worse. Nobody would have dared to even see that in the first 100 days of Akufo-Addo's administration, where people who've been appointed under his administration are literally saying that what you are doing is inadequate. It's actually not what you have to do. It's embarrassing to say the least. I think they should call for an emergency meeting, because the more they speak, the more they expose themselves. A staffer sat at Asempa FM saying that CEOs were defying orders from the Jubilee House. And that was even within the first 40 days.
So the center has broken.
There is absolute chaos, and if we are not careful, we are all going to suffer for it. We are in opposition. We understand that you kicked us out, yes, but we also don't want you to fail, because when you fail, we suffer the more.
Okay, so 100 days is actually 17th of April. So 17th of April, which is about 5 days from now, it will be 100 days since President Mahama came to office. All right, let's end the show this way. So Abdul Basit Mahama says, come to think of it, isn't a drug bust a good thing for a government? It indicates enhanced law enforcement. So why is the government trying to own the problem? The country actually scored low on drug enforcement when no arrests are made locally. Yet people are caught in other jurisdictions after passing through our ports. So Abdul Basit Mahama is actually saying that if you do an arrest locally, it's actually a good for your image and not necessarily bad.
Exactly.
So you should investigate the matter. Okay, so Reverend Intim Fojo, the mighty minority, and the mighty minority are men of truth. Some people will ignore the truth just because it came from Reverend Intim Fojo. The first method to estimate the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men around him. If you have someone like Ofosu Kwashe as your mouthpiece, this is the reward you get. Lies upon lies upon lies. And that is Lee Tekpo's message. Okay, so that's how we are ending the show today. My guest who joined me, Akosia Issa Meinu. She's a member of the New Patriotic Party communications team. Issa, thank you for coming. Charles Bisu is also an ex-presidential staffer and former parliamentary candidate for Esikado Ketan. Charles, thank you for coming. Dr. Joshua Jebutie Zato is a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department, University of Ghana. Doc, thank you for coming. And then Nick Papo Samoa Addo is a member of the NDC. He's also a lawyer. Now he has a new role he's playing. He says actually mentioned on the radio.
This is a board chairman of the NPA, National Petroleum Authority. So, if you are still sending me the fuel coupons, you see, me, I didn't pile on you.
And then, is he still on the line?
I didn't pile on you. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. and then earlier on, we spoke to Enoch Afuaka. He's a lawyer. All of them joined us today. Thank you all for coming. This show has been produced by Emmanuel Ohiming and Daniel Gidiglo. My name is Wilberforce Asaase. Thank you very much for the privilege of your company.